Good morning, Wall Street Bets. It's Monday, January 23rd. You survived another week. But that's not the case for everybody. Over at Spotify and Google, there are layoffs. Layoffs abound as Tesla's Elon Musk testifies in court around a tweet that he made around Tesla back in the day saying 420 funding secured. So we'll see how that uh, trial proceeds, as well as everything else that's going in the market. It's going to be a pretty exciting week. So, without further ado, let's open up for conversation.
Good morning. So we finally have a layoff announcement from Google, huh? So what's the issue with this Elon tweet?
In terms of the Google layoff announcement, I do want to point out that it's 8 weeks of payroll. That means they don't officially get fired for 8 weeks, which allows them to get their next RSU vest. And then on top of that, they're receiving a 4 to 6 month severance depending on seniority, plus an extra month for every year of service up to 10 months. So a good chunk of these unemployed or newly unemployed Googlers won't show up in the unemployment numbers for a year. And that's assuming they sit on their ass and do nothing. A lot of these people work incredibly hard, and I have no doubt because of that Google mark on their resume will be able to land another job and write their own roles. Interestingly, we posted a bunch more engineering jobs or software engineering jobs, and where in the past, let's say 3 months ago, we would only see maybe 150 to 200 applications, we're now seeing 2,000 plus. So the impact or the pressure of the pending unemployment wave is starting to show itself.
You think there's Google's employees are going to come with a premium, or are they going to have to lower themselves down a bit?
I will find out as I go through the interviews for these applicants. A handful of them are FANG, so it's because they're FANG. I'm being given I'm being given their profiles to interview, so it'll be fun to make them squirm again.
Isn't it
Is,
more likely that they would actually get the jobs over other people anyway? So,
That's not
it may
true.
not be.
Shitty people work for FANG too. They just slip through the cracks better.
No, I mean people who worked for Google and such. Like that would be good on your resume, right? And they wouldn't really struggle. They wouldn't be the ones struggling to find jobs. It would be the other people who don't
All
have,
that
say,
means,
Google.
Bumbla, is they will get the interview. But one of the problems with software engineers from FANGs, in my experience, is that they don't really know the underlying infrastructure on which their code runs. They rely on incredibly sophisticated DevOps teams to build the sandbox for them. And if they can't operate outside the sandbox, they're not really good for the various startups I work for or represent.
and I would just add in that the majority of these guys are looking for people that can think outside the box, be more creative, think not in the current moment, but in the future, especially nowadays with just the forward-looking technologies. If your mindset's not in that, and you're too stuck in the old adage technology, you're going to get left behind. And I think we're going to hear a lot more stories about that too.
And keep in mind, these software engineers are the cream of the crop. These are arguably the top, let's call it 5% of software engineering talent in the world. And now the that's just one cohort of people who were laid off. You also have recruiting coordinators, people whose job it is to schedule candidates for interviews with first or second level interviewers. Those ones will probably have a harder time finding a job, if only because their role is such a commodity. And with the introduction of ChatGPT and other AI technologies, uh, the scheduling has been less of a problem. The same can go for product management types or operations types. Their jobs are more commodity, and they enjoyed the perks of being at a FANG. but because their jobs are commodity, there's a very strong chance they'll be forced to take a pay cut.
It's the live game of Hunger Games within some respects, because only the strongest will survive these rounds.
Well, there's another thing to consider. Another thing to consider is that a lot of the people laid off were H-1B visa holders, so they'll be especially desperate to find new jobs that are willing to sponsor their visas. Otherwise, they'll be forced to return home. And that may end up leading to a wave of reverse immigration, so emigration, I think, back to their home countries, which is unfortunate. But it also means the homes they bought will go back on the market. It means the jobs that they would have taken away from similarly skilled Americans suddenly go back to those Americans. So it may, in the short term, benefit the US, but it's unclear to what extent that brain drain will hurt.
I'm getting flashbacks from South Park.
Anyway, that's all the macro stuff.
So basically, what you're telling me is that the housing market crash is going to be because of all these Google employees from foreign countries that are going to have to go back home.
No, that is simply a factor. It will not be everything.
Yeah, I don't
Yet,
know
for
if people
example,
realize. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, the housing market crash from latest statistics. The housing market crash is well underway already. I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
But
Well, I just wanted
the
to add to
high-paid
Harvey's.
FANG employees who no longer have someone to sell their overpriced houses to will likely be forced to take a loss. The employees who were forced to leave the US for immigration purposes will likely be forced to take a loss on the houses. And the same will be said for the over-leveraged short-term rental folks who, 2,400 units and they went boom? Something like that.
Plus, you forgot the fact that rents are decreasing as well, rapidly.
So there's a chance I can afford the dumpster in San Francisco, Wendy's.
Source for the rent decrease, Mr. Bumbala?
Yeah, just saying that obviously rent is decreasing now. So
Where?
people,
He wants the source.
well, in my in my local market, for example, rent is
Okay.
decreasing by, I think about 10% since last year, and then I've also checked other local markets, other markets where they have also reported decreases in rents. So that's going to be a hit for landlords.
Understood. I know the Sun Belt was decreasing, so think like wherever cotton or tobacco used to be grown, those were candidates for a softening market. And then same for
The
South
coastal deep south.
Not quite coastal, think more inland, but yes, that area. I
Well, I'm
suppose you
thinking
could
more
also say
Alabama,
Bible.
Georgia.
Is that the Bible Belt? I'm not really sure.
That is also considered part of the Bible Belt, yes.
Florida as well is decreasing. Georgia.
When you guys say decreasing, can you help me with some numbers here, just hypothetically?
So, for example, last year, a 2-bedroom apartment, or let's say a 2-bedroom townhome, would be roughly 2,500, 2,600. Now you're going to be getting about 2,100 for it. So that's the kind of decrease that I've been noticing, and I rent out a few, and it's not going to be pretty, but
Interesting. Tesla's
So does
gap
anyone?
$3.
Oh, they're gapping up despite that Elon's about to testify in court. Does anyone know the whole story behind that?
Is this the 420 going private with Tesla testimony, or which one is this?
I believe something like that.
Yeah, that's correct. That's the tweet at hand.
Yeah, I mean, I heard there's like a $20 million fine, and I'm not sure what else is going to come out of it, but I think it's going to be a nothing burger compared to
It's
the
a
other stuff that he's
relative.
pulled.
It'll probably be a nothing burger until there's an actual judgment against him and he's run out of appeals.
Hmm. And compared to some of the other stuff he's pulled, that's kind of pretty minor at this point. Except for the SEC, they take it
So,
pretty
what
serious.
exactly is he facing over this tweet?
Well, I think it's stock manipulation because he said that he was going to take Tesla private at 420 a share, and I think at that time it was trading somewhere around, I don't know, $150, $200 a share. So it was like a crazy amount that he was going to take them private at.
Yeah, and isn't this the class action? Didn't the SEC already fine him for it?
Yeah,
Not
they did.
Oh, this is the shareholder one.
This is
Okay.
the class action. Yeah, he had to pay 20 million in fines the last time.
Yeah, and for him, that's like what, a drop in the ocean?
The trial is far from over. It's expected to run clear through February, the beginning of February.
So, are we expecting him to have to pay a lot more if he loses the class action lawsuit then?
Well, the 20 million has already been paid, but that's to the SEC. The class action lawsuit will likely go nowhere except to the lawyers' pockets. It's generally how those kind of class actions pay out, unless you're the named plaintiff.
Yeah, exactly. I watch Better Call Saul.
Yeah, each shareholder will get $2. Send an email to receive your payout from the class action. Here's your $2. After attorney's fees.
I'm
Do you
still waiting to
recommend
see
Better Call
what
Saul?
happens with the class action lawsuit against Nintendo. That's been sitting nowhere for years.
I think they're paying in ramen this year.
Hey, I got my $25 from the Equifax breach and the indefinite loss of my privacy and my social security number, my address, my phone number. That's worth it for those $25.
So what you do with those 25?
I think I blew it on some call options.
Oh, I was expecting you to say that you bought someone's credit card information online.
Cocaine and hookers.
Were you guys talking about the real estate market in the Sun Belt area? Or real
What do you
estate
have
prices?
to share, Pee Wee? P-Reeve.
PP.
Your name is.
You gotta say my name right.
My
Like,
PP
like-
reversed. Go ahead.
PP
Thank you.
reversed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Audio
So
action.
I did put an article out regarding South Florida real estate prices outside of the major cities, major city being Miami. It looks like the outbound cities or the outbound towns, the prices for the home sale percentage is decreasing. Not the prices, but the home sales are decreasing.
Is this new construction or existing homes?
Existing homes. Condos mostly. The article was mostly talking about condos. It also talks about single family residential buildings that
these
are
the
coming down in
condos-
value as well. But mostly
these-
condos it was referring to.
Are these the condos that have massive assessments because they didn't set enough money aside for hurricane damage?
I would guess yes.
I'm not sure on that, but it was just comparing prices from peak 2021 till now.
Understood, because that was a comment another Florida real estate affiliated person shared with us maybe 2 months ago.
No, I know somebody made a
Mismanagement.
comment regarding hurricanes and erosion on that article. But the article wasn't focused on just coastline properties or tall buildings facing foundational issues. It was just focused around condos and single family across the south of Florida.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing, Reversed. Who else has plays to share? Okay.
You know what
saw
that means. Oh, go ahead.
Leopard. Let's bring up Leopard.
They are
Yeah.
asking in the comment section, Hardy, where the elevator music is. And there you
One
go.
step
It is
ahead of
ladies
you.
and gentlemen.
I saw Enphase dropped horribly on those. What was that? The manufacturing survey or uh, industrial something last week.
Producer prices.
I think PCE's this week. No, it wasn't
Oh.
that. It was like ISM survey, something like that. And it dropped like I don't know, 12-15%, something like that. But and they have earnings coming up in early February, but oil prices are, climbing a little bit. They've been kind of from 70, they went up to like 80. I think they're in low 80s right now. I would expect Enphase to recover a bit. So I bought it was a call spread 230 235 250 call spread for the end of the month. I figure I can also get optionality with the earnings. So if it doesn't recover before earnings, might be able to make some profit on earnings if they do well. I mean, that company has just been beating repeatedly every quarter since I've started watching it. ENPH.
Out of curiosity, does Enphase's microinverters really do that much better versus just a string inverter style array?
Yeah, definitely. So
Because there are there are vloggers on YouTube who have reported not so meaningful results. Now I understand Enphase basically protects against like partial shading of an array. I get that. I'm trying
correct.
to understand how big of a problem it is for properly positioned arrays, especially if they're on a house roof, which is usually taller than surrounding trees.
Oh, well, I don't know if
Or you're
it's
talking
usually
like deep rural areas where there's a lot of old growth.
right. Yeah, so like residential solar, which is so I'm in the Tampa area, and it seems like every other house in my neighborhood has it, including mine. I put it on there pretty much as soon as I bought my house. Enphase, firstly, of the like 5-6 people that I companies that I tried to get quotes for, everybody is using Enphase and microinverters. They were using like Canadian Solar and Silfab and all these other companies for the panels, but it was always Enphase for the microinverters. Secondly, yeah, like you said, the partial shading. So there's a bunch of trees in my neighborhood, and I would guess in a lot of suburban neighborhoods. So any shading from trees, any shading from clouds. I got, my neighbor's trees are growing really tall, and they're starting to occlude a couple of the panels on the side of my house, at different parts of the day. And I can see, from the Enphase app, I can see the production output for the various panels. I can see that some of them are getting less than others, but it's never like fully blocked. None of the panels are ever like fully off. They're always producing on a hour by hour basis, despite I think um significant shading for multiple of the panels throughout the day. So string inverters are they're not the future. It's going microinverters. There's probably a couple other companies, I think maybe SolarEdge. There's a couple other companies that do microinverters, but Enphase is far and away better. They're also last year they released their battery to compete with like the solar wall, Tesla Powerwall. I think that's very huge as well.
Do you know the chemistry of that battery?
I don't. I stopped following them for some time when it went to the moon, and I kind of I got out of the stocks. I stopped following them for a good 6-8 months. But with this drop recently, I decided I wanted to take another shot back in it. I did know a little bit more about that battery when I was tracking it.
Where'd you say that you're at, Spoen?
Tampa area.
You should see, because I know California has a law that says that trees can't cover more than a certain percentage of a solar panel. So you might see if you have any laws for that in your area.
You telling me I can get my neighbor's trees cut down because my solar panels are getting blocked?
Potentially, that's how it works in California.
Here in Florida, people have guns, so I'm not gonna even try.
Code enforcement's no joke. They murdered someone in Austin because he wouldn't mow his lawn.
Here in Ohio, we got a billboard that says the sun sets, the wind stopped blowing, but coal is still there. It's literally an advertisement for coal. And I'm like, you realize once you burn it, it's gone forever, right? Retarded. Fully retarded.
I believe
What would you say, Scald, believe in that billboard or agree with it, percentage-wise in Ohio? Is this like a 10% problem or a 50% problem?
Oh, here in Ohio, it's like a 62% problem.
That'll be in
You
South
get outside,
Ohio, right?
You get outside Columbus or Cincinnati or one of the metro areas, and it is an intellectual wasteland. But it does have nice like corn and stuff and crops. That's pretty cool to look at.
I just want to let you know that all living things, even people, are made up of carbon. Just a fun fact.
So, Scald, I'm not sure if you're aware, but that cold actually is there forever. It's just in the air now for you to breathe, and then it becomes part of you. So, it's definitely not gone. So don't do coal dirty like that, pun intended.
That makes me feel a lot better. It reminds me of when I was working in a lab in college, and never mind. Long story short, I ended up touching this thing made out of solid asbestos on accident. Anyway, we'll talk later.
So, despite unemployment news, both Google and Spotify are green in pre-market. Spotify's actually up like 5%.
That's because layoffs are bullish. Lower expenses, but theoretically same revenue.
Now that makes me happy. I'm getting back to Google's almost to what I bought it for.
I think this week, my crystal ball says Microsoft will have a nice run.
That reminds me, we have a lot of companies with earnings this week. Anyone playing earnings at all this week? What companies?
Yes, Visa and MasterCard. Those will be the earnings I'm playing this week on Thursday. American Express coming out Friday. I did get a message from somebody, Old Hat 90 said, a lot of people are paying their credit card bills through another credit card company, paying 3 to 5% entry fee, then no interest for 12 to 18 months. So the good old, what was that, credit card hacking 101?
The rolling balances.
Yeah, thank you. Rolling balances.
Kicking the can down the road, just like the U.S. government.
Hopefully you guys remember a couple weeks ago when I came on here speaking Chinese and said we were going to talk about Chinese stocks. I do want to call
CCP coming in. That Chinese was unacceptable.
Cuba has ran 78% since that call out. It's up 78% since then. So nice.
Was that a brag?
Just letting people know it did go to the moon.
Everybody
another
knows
play?
the name of that Scald. You went into the blockchain.
That was a CCP.
I think he went crypto mining.
Sorry. Yeah, it's Hua, Huya, if you guys can hear me. If not, I'm kind of in the dead zone, the fabled cornfields of Ohio.
Well, last week Scald mentioned, was it Rhine Metal?
Does everyone have a bad connection today?
No, just Scald in the cornfield.
And yes, he did mention Rhine Metal.
Why is it when you purchase it, you have the feeling to go outside and start high-fiving everybody?
Because that's what we do here at the Wall Street Bets. When you're wrong, you high five, and when you're right, you high five. Welcome to Wall Street Bets. If you haven't heard, you can join our Discord. It's a great Discord with casinos, visual mod, and much, much more. Check it out.
We should probably point out the link is pinned in the comments.
I thought that was more of a German thing. Never mind.
Guys, this is just a weekend reminder. Over the weekend, Theta ate your calls and puts.
Yeah, but stuff also happens over the weekend, so it's not all so bad.
I have
And
a
I
feeling
believe-
my calls will be fine. Even though everything's going downsies according to Tart Astrology. The star stream was breaking off on a bullish trajectory, as I last told you, and now it's unfortunately going downsies. So that's the story for Tart Astrology.
Master, I'm sad to report to you that according to my investing class, I can't listen to your Tart Astrology anymore.
Oh no, why not? Is it because it's not real?
Apparently, it's a bad investing strategy.
Hey, True
I
Alpha.
mean,
if
it
you're right,
is. It really
the
is.
data.
I don't deny that. I tell
I-
everyone
I
that,
think
but
it's-
people
I
still
think his
follow
investment
me.
strategy is better than what you learn in a college class, to be honest.
So Latter Day, does that mean that you can't listen to my chickens predictions either?
I mean, that
chickens?
that was not on the list of things not to listen to, so I think we're still good there. Chicken stonks for the soul.
Yay!
Hey guys, I'm back in civilization. Yeah, I did call out Rhine Metal. I originally called it out 3 months ago, right after the missiles landed in Poland. But I also called it out again recently because I think that pump's just going to keep pumping, man. It's nuts, dude. The Germans are set to invest $100 billion into their military-industrial complex. I mean, a little bit of Edelweiss over there, man. It's on the move.
So, speaking of German and military spending, does anyone know who makes the German Leopard tanks?
Switzerland?
Dang. Does anyone know if it's a publicly traded company that does it?
Microsoft?
Oh my God! Is this seriously an EV defense play? That's hilarious.
The Leopard
No, not
electric
EV.
powered tank.
So, no, Leopard tanks.
By Kraus Maffel.
Yes. So, I was doing some reading this morning. So, Poland is trying to put together a coalition of countries to send tanks to Ukraine, and they're trying to get Germany to send some of their Leopard tanks over there. Right now, I guess between what they have in active use and in reserve, Germany has about 500 Leopard tanks, including 200 in reserve. So, that if they do actually decide to send some tanks, obviously they're going to want to get those replaced. So that might be a bullish indicator for that company.
I think most of the components are made by Rheinmetall. As it was
In that case, Ryan Metal's going to moon even more.
Yep. Also,
Ticker?
I'm long on that one. Very
What's
good
the ticker for that?
RHM.
That ticker, to be clear, is on the German exchange.
DAX.
Yes.
In the U.S., it's
It's
RNMBY.
Yeah, it's RNMBY on U.S. exchanges. I checked. You can trade it on both Thinkorswim. You can even trade it on Robinhood, which surprised me, but it's there.
Hey, for the person that has chickens, I think it was T Prince. Out of curiosity, how much did you sell a dozen eggs for recently?
Yesterday, $3.50 a dozen.
Whoa. What state?
And that is discount.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I haven't raised my prices.
that's
I have
very
regular
ridiculous.
customers.
That's low.
And I'm not gonna play that game. I've been selling eggs to these people for years, so I'm not gonna raise
That's
my
the loyal
prices.
customer price. Very good.
The
That's all.
in-store
I know.
price for where I'm at for a dozen is probably about $4.75, and you're looking at 7 and change for a dozen and a half.
It's $9 here.
My wife has complained to me every day. She's like, "You should have let me get all those chickens like in 2020 during the pandemic, like I said." She's complained to me every day. She was right on her long chickens.
If every third person in the United States had 3 chickens, the egg industry would be completely out of business.
Yeah, they lay like a dozen eggs a week, right? I mean, it's something like that. Like they have like crazy amounts of egg production. I had no idea.
It depends on the rated chicken you have. The ones we have at my house, they all lay about 1 a day, but we don't go through that much eggs. We have like 4 dozen eggs sitting in our fridge right now. So, Skull, if you want to take the long drive down from Ohio, I'll get you a dozen eggs.
That's a lot. You should guard them.
On Fox News, or I think it was on Friday, they had a lady or a couple on there that they do rented chickens, including the chicken coops.
How much?
I don't remember. I kind of tuned it out. I was laughing at the oddity of it.
Guess we need to start a publicly traded chicken rental company.
Yeah, that sounds like a business plan.
I think they'd been doing it since 2020.
Speaking of
Give me
people shorting
something.
chickens, my dad got offered a pretty high level position at a publicly traded egg company like 2 years ago. And he was like, "No, I'm not taking it. I'm just going to retire instead." And had he taken that position in stock options, oh, buddy, he would have made some serious cash on that one. But hey, he retired, and that's worth it.
You may have been a millionaire, by the way, if he didn't retire.
Well, who's to say he's not a millionaire now? But I digress.
He could have been 2 millionaires then.
Been 3 millions, but it doesn't matter. It's besides the point. We're here to make millions on Wall Street Bets. If you haven't seen the Hardy option wrinkle plays, they are posted. Check those out when you get some time. And yeah, it's going to be a great Monday. I can feel it in the air. It's going to be a great green Monday.
You jinxed it. I think you're just looking at pre-market.
Yeah, I was. I was actually, yeah, I was. You're right. I was looking at Hensing. Sorry, guys. Wrong market.
Oh, we've got our penny stock pincher here. What's on the scanner for today?
Oh, I love this guy.
Good morning, Wall Street Bets. How y'all
What's
doing
up,
this
what's
morning?
up? Hello, sir.
All is well.
Alaikum.
All is well, friends. So I got a couple plays. I posted them in the link in the chat. I'll read them off real quick. Let me find them. My egg play though Don't forget about Calm since y'all talking about eggs. CALM. I'm probably the first person to mention it. I believe. Tutu. Check that out. Let me get to my list. Apologize. 1 second.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't heard about this guy, Tuesday Fly Big Baller, wait till you hear what he has in store for you. He has some picks that may make some money and picks that may not make some money. But either way, at least he's got some picks.
My guys, here we go. I'm still in COSM, one of my favorites. We have PEGY. We also have JAJFB, ARA. For crypto, you got Riot, RIOT. You got HUTT. We also got Mara, MARA. And I'll slide SLRX in there. And that's what I'm doing for the day, boys. I did jump in a couple options. I'm new to options. The only reason I came here was for you guys to teach me some options. And I did slide an options play in on Friday, and I'm up on it. So let me give you that right quick. And I'll sound like I know what the fuck I'm doing for a second. Here we go. I got in on 1 second. All right, here we go. I got in on SHOP for February 3rd call at 40.50. And I'm up $95. So we'll see what the fuck that does, fellas. Y'all have a grand day. Appreciate you, Wall Street Bets. Let's get paid.
Yes, and even though
Thank
it's
you.
January, it's never too early to put together your Christmas list. And I'm asking Santa for just 1 share of Berkshire Hathaway Class A.
How much do you think it will be worth? Just hypothetically, latter day. How much do you think it'll be worth by the time December rolls around? I'm not even. Does anybody have a price for that? What price is it trading at? If anybody has a quick glance.
I know I looked at it earlier. It was like 400,000+.
Yeah, it seems like you're still taking that investing class at school, so hopefully we work on those numbers.
Yeah, $469,645.
By the end of the year, 493. That's my guess.
493. Because apparently it went up like a solid $1,000, which was 1% or something Friday. All I know is that could buy my parents' house and probably by the end of the year get that shop built that my dad's always wanted.
Those are great goals. I hope you reach them. I'm sending some positive vibes and affirmations and all that great stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, shop for Latter Day's Dad. Let's go.
We have 2 people started trading November and Sad Molasses who requested to come up. You've been invited up, but you've got to accept, folks. We'd love to hear from both of you.
There he is. They're sad.
Yeah.
Hey now. Good morning.
Hold on, I think his avatar's being downloaded.
Welcome back.
Excuse me, guys, real fast. I got one more for you. My scanner just hit me with one. I may be late on this, but INBS. It looks like this joint is up 281%. I would definitely wait for the super dip and find your entry point and get whatever change is available. But at 285% gain, I'm sure Wall Street will take all that back before the close of the day, but you may get a little change. INBS. Let's see if it has any options. No options. We're looking at market cap of 4.59. It's a smoker, but we also have the shares outstanding at 18.35, which I like.
Is that 4.59 million or billion?
Yeah, that's an M for million, my friend. Very small. But again, we don't care about market cap. Again, we don't give a shit about these companies, micro cap, they mama, they fucking forward. We just want to get in and out, my friends.
Do you look for pre-market movers?
I mean, yeah. So like I had somebody say, "Oh, you just looking at the movers, the gainers for the day." Yeah, that's all right. Correct. I do look at that. But at the
Ladies and
same
gentlemen,
time,
if you want to pump and dump, you'd contact Two Fly Boy. He takes Venmo, Cash App, Zelle. He takes it all. But yeah, thank you, Stay
there
Fly.
you
We
go.
appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Take a look at these stocks. I got a few pre-market movers. ALLR. Yeah, I get emailed some pre-market movers sometimes. I don't know if they're good. I don't trade them or anything.
So for me, I have my little formula that I look at: the market cap, shares outstanding, the volume, 10-day volume, and all that plays into whether it doesn't matter if it's a mover for the morning. That will determine where I can enter, exit. Like I said, I look at the level twos and
these filters and everything.
The word determined. Did you learn that in your investing class yet, Latter Day? Determined. That's such a strong word, you know.
No, I don't think we've gone through that yet.
I'm thinking that Carvana, I know we've talked about buying it, turn them into chicken farms.
Well, they're already in a mess already. I don't think they need to be any messier, but I digress.
So I believe it was to Stay Fly that suggested, I don't know, but CTXR, CTXR. So I did a little homework on it basically over the weekend. CTXR, Citrix Pharmaceuticals, and it might be a long-term play, but from the looks of it, they got a price target of $10. This company, I think, will go a hell of a lot higher than that, according to the drug classes that it's going to be releasing and the stages of where those drug classes are in. So I'm going to go ahead. I bought in. I bought in at $1.38. Like I said, it could be a long term. It could be, any minute it'll hit up that 10. But I think it's going to go well above the $10 price target that one of those analysis people said that it was, targeted for over the next year. Like I said, they've got like two of them that should hit the market that are dealing with some certain aspects of cancer that everybody's going to be interested in. So, yeah.
just make sure you take your gains, man. Fuck these companies. Take your 20% a day, 10%, whatever the day gives you. Take your money and get back in with house money. It's just my thought process, my friend. No financial fucking advice.
You sell your AMC shares yet?
Hell no, man. No one on this fucking earth's gonna force me to sell, bro. This is what the stock market does. I got a lot of years of watching this shit go up and down. Like at the end of the day, I'm gonna hold this bag till I fucking can't hold it no more. But I'm gonna get at least half my money back. So
you do care about one company, AMC.
no, fuck that company. Yes, sir.
Would it potentially be logical if you're up like, let's say, 20K so far this year, to realize 20K in AMC losses and kind of wash out the
Well, at the
taxes
end of
on
the
that?
year, if it makes sense, or if some of these plays end up pushing up and it's a day squeeze and it makes sense to take a loss over here because I know I can say if I lose 5, I know I can make 10 in the same day. Well, fuck it, let's do it. But to speculate the year, we'll just wait. And at the end of the year, if we got to take a wash sale and just do what we do, we do
You
what
should
it
look
do.
into selling covered calls and regain some of those losses as well.
I'll check that out. That makes sense.
Nothing like washing the wash. But yeah, wash sale. Have you learned that vocab yet, Latter Day? Wash sale?
Week 1, not yet.
Yeah, that's not a loss sale. That's tax loss harvesting, if you will. Loss sale is when you sell one security. I'm not even going to explain it. Someone else can. I'm not going to.
I can real fast. So a wash sale, you buy AMC today, you sell it for a loss, and then you buy it in less than 31 days. You wash that, and they average your price up, and then you don't sell the shares. And whatever date you sold it on, they change the date that you rebought it to your original sell date, and that's what the fuck a wash sale is. And if you do it at the end of the year, it makes a little bit of tax sense.
Yeah, and Reptile was talking more about tax loss harvesting. So I just don't want people to misunderstand the terms, That's all.
Sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
There is no wash sale if you do that on options. If you buy it the following week, it is technically a new contract. So you can buy the same strike price if you wanted. But you need to follow up that with the following week.
I'd be careful about that because there's substantially identical language in the IRS code may make that a shaky recommendation there, Ayot.
Yeah, I
Well,
thought you have to
according to
change the strike price.
the CBOE is where I learned it from. So I hope they're not misinforming me. But they stated that if you buy a contract and sell a contract from the strike price and then go for the following week, that's technically a new contract. It's a new contract code and technically not the same position.
No, just
So
to clarify,
please reference CBOE for that.
it's the same strike price. So if you buy the same strike price, it's substantially equivalent. So if you buy a different strike price, then it's considered different. So you gotta make sure you can check your E-Trade or whatever to have a CUSIP code, which is the CUSIP code, and that tells you if your options are different or not. So if you want to rebuy the option, best thing is to go in your E-Trade, look in your last 31 days of your what you purchased, look up the strike price, and then check the code. If it's the same, don't rebuy.
Yeah, the code is different for each week, just for record.
Yeah, I think realistically, the only thing you could do wash sales on for options probably leaps. So that is what it is. Now we can move on.
Interesting enough. Oh, sorry, I'll move on after this one. Crypto does not have a wash sale, not yet. So you can do the within 31 days sell and then buy back at a lower price.
Maybe we can get an expert on here opinion from the CBOE or someone that has understanding of that stuff. But it'd be quite a boring show, quite frankly. No one likes to talk about taxes.
Yeah, and even people that are in investments have to say this is not tax advice. So we should be far, far, far away from it. I agree.
I know because your tax situation can be dramatically different from mine.
I know someone who works in compliance at the Securities Exchange Commission. You want me to get her on here?
Let's go.
No, I used to work in compliance.
We'll just bring the SEC in here, full stop, to talk to Wall Street Bets.
Well, no, heads up, guys. I was the field principal I was a principal for almost 10 years in 3 different ways. So I actually was. I'm not anymore. I'm like 5 years removed from the business. So that's where I get a lot of my knowledge base. I wasn't just a teller. I started as a teller, but I moved up a lot.
We found our first spy.
No, I don't work for anyone anymore. I work for myself. Actually, I do have trust, not to brag.
Well, that's exactly what a spy would say, but not for that.
I've lost money and made money on GameStop and Best Buy, or excuse me, Bed Bath & Beyond. So, no, I'm an ape. Look at my name. My name started because of y'all. So, no.
Okay, FBI.
I'm really starting to think he's a spy now. Look at my name. It's got ape in it. Like, oh, man, buddy. Just digging that niche right there.
Technically it says monkey, but we won't be technical here.
I know. Oh, I've had that pointed out too. A monkey is not an ape. I'm like, semantics, but it is true.
Well, semantics in your line of work should actually be there. But I digress, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, is it just me, or has it gotten drier than my girlfriend's nether regions around here?
Reddit's still not sending out the notifications. Brilliant week-long bug.
Wait, is that the hey now, dude?
Hey now.
Yeah, we missed that.
Oh no, he said it earlier, and I was like, oh, it's sad.
Yeah, I missed that.
For sad. Everyone throw the doge up for sad.
Thank you, guys. I sustained a little bit of an injury a couple weeks ago. It was massive throat trauma behind my local Wendy's.
Ice packs, I've heard.
I was gonna say I also have brain damage.
Oh.
But yeah, I'm looking. Last time I was here, I told you guys I was selling some plug $15 puts. Yeah, I'm a genius. Also told you to buy $200 Boeing calls. Hit the 52-week high in the last couple of weeks. Probably looking to go the other way on both of those in the short term, but bullish on both of those long term overall. Don't have any specific plays. Been a little busy, but yeah. What's up? Good to be back.
Well, Boeing made 50% in the past 3 months. That's pretty impressive.
So, ape to the moon. Don't forget it.
You're consistent, so that's good.
You know, I have to have my contribution to this chat, and I feel that's very contributing.
I kept getting interrupted the other day too. By the way, what I was trying to say was you do have the best deadpan. I can tell when you're being a jackass and not telling the truth, but keep it up, please. Wow. That was a great...
I am always serious, and everything I say is financial advice, and you are free to hire a lawyer and try to take me to court over a Wall Street Bet morning talk. Have a blast with that, people.
Hey, Reptile, I got a link for you to click on. Do you mind just like filling out your details?
Ladies and gentlemen, I must say, please be wary of the free purses and the free random, I guess you would say, Gucci stuff in the Discord. Please do not click on those links, and please report them. But there was a fun fact actually mentioned by Hardy today about Porsche. If you don't mind sharing that, Hardy.
Opinion, we go with crypto, or should I post it elsewhere? Because this is...
Nope, crypto is fine, yeah.
All right. Porsche NFT released earlier this morning, the original mints. And the reason why this is interesting is because this is the actual Porsche company, or Porsche for those who think you're fancy. I'm wondering to what extent the popularity of this NFT will rival the Donald Trump NFTs, or if this will just be a flash in the pan and fail. Either way,
I think
looking to
The
secure
Trump
about
ones
12.
were successful.
Yes, they were successful in that people who got in at the mint
Short term
made out with a killing, myself included. Right now, I'm trying to secure 7 more mints and then sell half on a double, like I always do.
Did any of you get that Louis Vuitton one that came out a few weeks ago?
I did not, mainly because people spend more money on Porsche than they do on Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, and knowing the international market, Porsche is really popular. So go ahead, Sad.
Accidental mic check, sorry.
Can I get a hey now?
So
Hey,
is
now.
Porsche a tech company now, like Tesla?
They've always been asserting they are a tech company in some ways, especially with the introduction of their EV line. Supposedly, they'll also be doing some form of assisted driving or smart cruise or whatever they're calling it. But I'm not as diehard a Porsche fan as some others here.
If you guys see a Porsche Taycan in the flesh, holy shit, that thing looks good. It stops in your tracks, like you physically like awe at it. It's amazing.
I think I'm just gonna take the Ferrari. Was it how you say it? Piccolo engine? The new one. Oh my god, that thing is tiny and powerful, unbelievable.
I can say that about something else.
Say it.
Just like a piccolo.
This is how you get throat injuries.
All right, so I guess with the next 5 minutes to market open, let me just run down the plays. I have Starbucks March 17, 105 puts for $4 or less. DVN, Devon Energy, I think, for March 17, $60 puts for $2.15 or less. Jets, the travel ETF, March 17, $20 puts for 65 cents or less. APA, March 17, $45 puts for $2.85 or less. And GT, March 17, $11 puts for 50 cents or less. These plays have to do with Gamma Max being crossed. Gamma Max is the price where, for a given ticker, the hypothetical options portfolio made of the option open interest has the highest gamma at this price. And I'm playing the reaction to that price level based on past crosses of that price level. Now this next batch, Tesla, March 17, 130 puts for $10.55 or less. XLF, which is the banking ETF. March 17, $36 calls for 75 cents or less. ARK K, March 17, $36 puts for 205 or less. MU, that's Micron, March 17, 57.50 puts for 255 or less. And DraftKings, March 17, 12.50 puts for 75 cents or less. These are all delta neutral crosses, and delta neutral is the price where a hypothetical options portfolio made up of the options open interest for a single ticker has a combined portfolio delta of 0 or as close to 0 as possible. More if you'd like to read the thesis and details, they're also posted into this in the comments.
Thank you as always.
Yep.
Are you net short or net long right now, Hardy?
On the market?
Yep.
I'm net bearish, but I'm long most of my securities.
Looks like Microsoft just came out with some news, fellas. Check out Microsoft. Something about 10 billion in just invested in Opani over the next multiple years. So Microsoft, MSFT.
That's old news, bro.
Oh,
OpenAI
well,
is
shit.
the company behind ChatGPT.
Ah,
Microsoft secured the deal in order to add ChatGPT and other and DALL-E 2 and other OpenAI products to Azure, their cloud service, in an attempt to compete with Google, AWS, and Oracle.
how old is this news? I'm late as hell, I guess.
2 weeks.
I digress. Fellas, have fun. The market's about to open. I appreciate your time today. God bless. Get money.
Speaking of
Or lose it.
Microsoft, their most recent layoffs, judging from LinkedIn, appear to be people involved in their VR and HoloLens groups. So perhaps this means Microsoft is waving the flag on military VR.
And just on the other side of that conversation that we had last week about chat, I did see that the Google founders are working with the current CEO to try to think of ways. I saw that article this weekend, and I think it was a little dramatic, but it said Google is scared of ChatGPT. So kind of interesting. There was some news about it.
Good reason. ChatGPT is very natural in its language.
Apparently, he was able to pass an MBA test or something like that.
It was
like-
able. So I can't speak to the MBA test, but I gave it a coding interview for an entry-level software engineer at one of the firms I represent. It passed. And so we've had to revise the interview process for junior to mid-level engineers to make sure they're not using ChatGPT.
But yeah, again, they brought them back in and welcomed them to try to give some direction on how to move forward with it and what projects matter. Anyhow, there's 1 minute to mark if anyone's got any other comments.
I think the main reason the founders were brought back on is because they're major shareholders with major voting power. So if executives make a bad decision or a decision the founders disagree with, those executives can be voted out at the next board meeting.
Yeah, it's actually good to see that kind of communication so they are on the same page. I agree with you.
I don't think it's an adversarial relationship or meeting. I think it's just someone covering their own.
Correct. Yeah. Again, I think they see the risk in the market to their product and what they were developing too. And again, just want to help.
I don't mean at the company level. I mean the executive trying to not lose their job.
Exactly. Yeah. All the help they can get.
Why on earth is Wayfair up 50%? That company's a piece of shit.
That red candle and dropping. Bye.
With Google being scared of ChatGPT or whatever, did y'all hear about that whistleblower It says Google's supposedly got the greatest AI ever made. I think back in August of last year.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was like a year or two ago, and he literally was like, he did not like the conversations he was having. I wouldn't say he's got sentience or whatever, the singularity, but no, it spooked him in a different way, not from a competitive way, but just for future master. I don't know. I hope not. But a lot of that was speculation too, and it was one or two engineers. But there were some talks about it and the spook factor, them getting too smart.
Hey, Hardy.
I think Hardy is no longer with us. He's gone to the beyond.
Well, technically, it is Porsche. It's not just fancy. That is how you pronounce it.
Well, you have to be sure to tell him tomorrow.
Definitely.
It's pronounced Eurotrash.
Porsche pays my bills, so it's all good.
It's nice to see my Shopify bags are getting lighter.
All right, ladies and
Can
gentlemen, what else we got?
anybody?
Yes, can anyone? I can. I can what, though? Hold on. What did I just say that I can do? I can stand on stage and talk to myself. All right. Well, I guess we'll never find out what I can do.
What can you do?
No, the question is, what can't I do?
Oof.
I can bring journalists back. There's no other place.
Oh, I don't. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
On that note, I'm going to take a long position in TEL. That's ticker TELL. I'm also going to take a long position in a company called Enphase. It's an OTC. Both are liquid natural gas sector plays. I just think that it'll be a long-term hold for me. Not looking for a large move, but obviously looking for something. I'm going to do a deeper dive into Enphase. One of the things going on right now in Europe is logistics of natural gas. Everyone's recognized the stronghold that Russia has on everyone over there. So the supply chains has disruption currently. There's been a couple deals with Germany and Qatar for transportation of natural gas to Qatar. And Enphase is possibly positioned to benefit from that situation. So that is ticker ENGG.Y. And then you could also, I guess, whatever broker you use for, or whatever tickers you want to use for your deal. The spelling of the company is ENAGAS. And then TEL is Tellurian. They're a United States-based liquid natural gas company. and that's ticker TELL.
So I don't know much about what the proposed regulation was, but are you not scared about that? I think it had something to do with like no new homes being built with natural gas or something.
No, there's a substantial effort in improving the global supply chain infrastructure for global commerce of liquid natural gas. And that's what's controlling everything right now.
Hey guys, I'm just gonna give you a quick update on last week. I think Friday I shouted out cash secured puts on Tyson for 60. I sold those on Friday for like 95. It was actually like 96, but they're like 65 now, so that's around 30% return. It's less than like a 1% risk adjusted return, but it's not much risk if you're willing to take on 100 shares of Tyson at 60. So yeah, I just want to give you guys an update on that.
Look at this guy using his brain to make actual plays.
I love that all he has to say for you to think that he's using his brain is just risk adjusted.
Exactly. Thank you.
If
Opinion.
anyone in this entire chat considers any form of risk in their play, they are using a very large percentage of their brain.
True.
We are
I
very
agree.
no,
I
like
agree.
not even sarcastic. Like that's a lot more than most people do here. If you're considering any form of risk,
That's like when someone was telling me about like, oh, we should redesign the policies this way so that instead of just market cap, it's also based on volume. I was like, okay, so you want people to check the market cap and the volume, which they don't already check the market cap. So what?
I'm pretty sure everybody here calculates the Sharpe ratio and does all the due diligence.
Yeah, of course, we're all professional investors, right?
I mean,
What
every day,
What about the Dole ratio? Talk about the Sharpe ratio.
every day I'm calculating short interest, shares outstanding, and DRS percentages. Sorry, DRS percentages. So you know, very important numbers. Usually, what most companies use to evaluate their company.
I laughed at that Dole ratio, by the way. Scott, just wanted to let you know.
Again, I also like I came here to tell everyone I bought Best Buy instead of Bed Bath & Beyond, but I made money on it. I like those plays too.
I made money accidentally buying SPY the other day. I went to buy one contract and instead I bought a share of SPY, and I was like, what? Then it went up, and I was like, oh shit. I was able to sell it pretty quickly. But you know, we've all done that. We've all fat fingered to trade.
You could have been a long-term investor.
Diversified and all.
You were 99 shares away from selling covered calls as well. You could have really wheeled that.
Now that you guys mentioned SPY, does anybody have any opinions on BUZZ?
Do you have any opinions on BUZZ?
I like a good buzz.
I just discovered it. It goes on par with SPY, it seems.
Zed's dead, baby. Zed's dead.
It's not a fight, a chop.
Okay, not everybody at once now.
I would say the silence in the room is no one really knows what it is. I see it's a sentiment ETF. Or social sentiment. So people are maybe reading. They don't have one. What do you think about it? Is it something that you invested in or made money on or lost money on?
Wait, was this the meme? Was
Yeah,
this
I'm not
the meme
invested on it.
ETF that was started? I think this was the meme stock ETF, right? That was created in 2020, right? Or 2021. That was
Yeah.
like, oh, we're just going to like The entire principle of this ETF is that it just like apes into like whatever's trending on social media. Like, if I remember right, I'm driving right now and I'm not reading anything about it, but
No, it
it
looks
doesn't.
like it. I got the top holdings here. It's AMD, Netflix, Alphabet, Nvidia, Meta, GameStop, Tesla, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon. All of those are like 3 to 2%. Chart is down for the last year. Not surprised.
Microsoft's pumping.
So that's fun. It turns out if you create an ETF that is going to buy the most popular companies, it also buys the companies that have the largest market caps on Earth. Who would have thought? Amazing. That was sarcasm.
Yeah, I was just asking because it seems like the charts are pretty much on par with SPY.
Well, yeah. So the reason why that's happening is because the biggest movers of SPY are also what is held in Buzz. These like FANG stocks and these other large things like that are the ones that move SPY, right? And they're also in Buzz. So that's why you're seeing that correlation.
Fair enough.
I'm going to watch PBR throughout the day. It's already broke through 1150, which seems to have been some kind of resistance level in the past week. I think that if it breaks above 12, that's the other level of resistance. I'll probably enter calls. If not, enter a put position short term, looking for maybe 15, 20% PBR.
I was looking at Wingstop. I don't know if you guys, massive PE, 100, only opening up like a couple hundred stores a year, single digit growth. I don't know how much longer you can maintain tech stock-esque PE with something that sells wings.
Sorry, did you say Wingstop as in like the wing store?
WING ticker.
Has an 100 PE ratio.
Yeah, it's something ridiculous. Yeah.
Ooh, what?
Bullish.
Simple came in on Friday. And Simple came in on Friday and pointed this out, that the PE is stupid.
And it's up since then.
Apparently, someone was saying they're pretending to be a tech company and not, and that's why they're trying to justify their PE. So take that as you will.
Yeah, they're saying they revolutionize ordering your wings on an app and getting you in and out the store with your wings in hand. And then they're a tech company now.
They're joking, right? Holy shit. I'm going to short this.
Yeah, I actually looked into the most degenerate put play on them. It was like $65 puts for like, I think, March or something. They're really cheap. They're like 20 cents a piece or something like that. So that's why I was looking at them.
Let's just Hindenburg these guys. Let's all put our autism caps on. Deep dive into these guys. Dig up some dirt, man. I'm sure we can find something that can trash this company. I mean, holy shit, that's the dumbest thing I've heard in a while. And man, I'm on WallStreetBets chat every morning. So me saying that's the dumbest thing I've heard in a while, I mean, it's pretty impressive.
Scald, we all know what will happen. We'll load up on puts, create way too much upward pressure, and it will squeeze on us. And that will be the end of it.
Took on a lot of debt too. I think like a couple $100 million between 2021 and 2022.
I mean, the most important question is the food actually good?
Fucking sucks.
I don't care.
They're the worst wings I've ever had.
I don't care if the food not just is good, but comes with a bar of gold. At a 100 PE, you're not even evaluating the product at that point, right?
No, again, the tech idea, kind of like with Tesla. I mean, at least you had Elon and some great vision. They're not, cooking wings without with oil, or I don't know. They're not doing anything we've talked about automation. It's not special. They're not a tech company.
I came across
What's
something like
the
this.
goal?
I came across something like this in my history. There's a company that was called Mrs. Fields Cookies back in the day, and they actually at that time they actually did create an innovative point of sale system for their retail stores. That was like I worked for National Cash Register Corporation at the time, and that was one of our clients. And they did have an awesome software application at that time that helped them with their point of sale and ordering and how many cookies to throw in the oven at a certain time of the day. But that's nothing. It sounds to me like Wingstop is sort of doing the same thing. It's nothing revolutionary. It's definitely not worth 100 PE ratio. So I agree with the short on them.
Looks like the same kind of story that Domino's tells, right? I think Domino's is listed on the NASDAQ, and it's supposedly like a tech company that sells pizza, but it mean reverts after some time. People realize. So I'm looking at Domino's and I see what happened there. It takes a long time to bear out, but
Same with like Chipotle too. It's got a higher one because it's seen as unique, if you will. It doesn't have to be just tech, but it seems to be unique, whether it be the experience or the food.
yeah, but, I mean, with Chipotle, I think those drive-throughs are sort of a reason for demand shift, and they have the ability to raise prices, as was seen in the past couple of years. I actually like Chipotle for those reasons, but Wingstop is already like the sort of fast ordering, drive-through, DoorDash, whatever solution. So whatever is kind of baked into the cake is already there from that perspective. They don't have a lever like adding drive-throughs that Chipotle would to push through a bunch more sales.
No, I appreciate that. No, I've held Chipotle before, not for long, but
So their only saving grace is they increased their revenue about 50%, I think, year over year, and digital sales is 62%. So.
By the way, I'm old enough to know that those Mrs. Fields cookies smell delicious. They had like the big cookie pie, whatever. Oh my god.
Yep.
Still around.
Oh.
The brand.
Oh yeah. I mean, they were awesome cookies and stuff like that. But like one of their claims to fame was their in-store technology, and we actually took a look at it from NCR to see what how they set it up and did everything, and it was cool, but not worth 100 PE ratio.
So I guess the real question is like, do we think that whatever they have is worth 5 times other retail food businesses? So that's currently where they're sitting at, guys. They're about 5 times the average PE ratio for similar stocks that I'm looking at.
I put a limit spread on it.
I mean, I'm having a real hard time getting there.
Have you looked at the options chain? The puts are freaking crazy expensive.
No, I would say too. And again, that seems like there's already a lot of people thinking that it's going to go down, probably for the same reasons we're looking at. I haven't been in years. Maybe we should send someone to go do some field work. I would get some wings for lunch.
There's one couple miles away from my house. I can go there. Last time I was there, though, I'm not kidding. It was never had.
I'd never go short on a company like this because, I agree it doesn't justify them 5xing every other retail food service. But I also never agreed that Tesla's self-driving justified their market cap.
We have Simple Vice here in the audience. I've invited him up. Maybe he can share a little more with his Wingstop thesis.
Well, Tesla, the car, is significantly different than a company selling wings. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but
Well, and the discussion we had last Friday too was about the brand. I don't want to say superiority, but that luxury, or the people that love it, and will like make it their life, even if you will, like jokingly. So again, is that worth 5 times normal?
Wait, is Wingstop some sort of luxury wing manufacturer? I'm very confused.
No, not luxury, but like how you pay extra for Nike, whether it be the shoe or the stock. But
No, people aren't that crazy about Wingstop.
This is again the same argument that we had on Friday. Somebody also mentioned Nike and fucking Wingstop in the same sentence.
okay, so how many fuckings are you going to use in your D&D today? Fucking isn't a real good D&D, but anyhow, go ahead.
Huh? Are you the same guy that mentioned Nike and Wings the last time?
Nope,
Or was
but I
this-
was around. I'm just laughing because I know how this is going to go. So go ahead, interrupt.
Did I hurt your feeling?
Kill him, simple.
No, I want to know.
No, I enjoyed your I enjoyed our time last Friday. Go ahead.
You see, I don't even remember you.
No one's here is saying long Wingstop, I don't think, right? No one is of that thesis. We're just trying to figure out what we can do to send this stock down to a reasonable level. Like, what can we do? Can we write articles about it? Can we? Yeah.
Ban him.
We should let people know this is garbage.
Devil's advocate. I was
Me?
not saying that it was worth the 100 multiple. Hell no. In fact, I'm preaching more for it. I just always do the devil's advocate, if that makes sense.
Ban.
He's a professional 10th man. He's not an asshole. He's a professional 10th man.
they beat earnings the last couple of quarters. So, I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen what their outlook is for this year, but
Since he came out so harshly, Simple, what's your play?
No, wait, I just got out of work. So what I was going to say is, the one thing that Wingstop has going for it is there's no insider selling. The only selling that is being done are the vetted options that are being exercised, and that's it. And yeah, the value of it is not even that high. So yeah, the only time when a company is when the company insiders are selling when shit is going to hit the fan, and there aren't. So I don't know. Maybe they know something we don't. But yeah, that's one good thing that I can say. What I can say about the company.
Look at the volume on this stock. It's like tiny. The thing never changes hands. It's really strange. I got 20,000 shares today, at least according to my brokerage. Average volume 540,000. That's pretty small.
I tend to be careful when I say, or when somebody's going to say that the people don't know about this stock, because the company is well known. We just need to figure out like what's going on here. I don't want to short it still. I'm not that brave. Like I said, there's some indicators that point into the direction a possible short, but yeah, there's a lot of them missing. So yeah.
So what happened in well, I guess I could say what happened in 2022, but we all know that. But it cratered violently throughout almost the entire first half of 2022, but then has since rebounded really strongly. Was that anything to do with like the bird flu and all that stuff that was going around last year? Or is it just beta, like war and commodity prices and food prices that drove it down? Does anyone know the history of Wingstop from 2022?
Did the whole market go down, or just Wingstop? Was it the end of the pandemic
I
when everybody
remember
ordered out?
inflation hit chicken hard first, and there's this whole thing where they couldn't get wings, and they introduced doing tenders.
Got it.
Fucking hell, I wanted to check something on my PC like 10 minutes ago, and I got a update for Windows 11, and I'm losing my fucking mind now. I was gonna provide you with the data that I have on my PC, but I can't now.
Get it? You're a boomer.
Dude, that's the same reason that I got an Apple. I've switched over to Apple completely. I cannot have my PC going down when I don't want it to. But yeah, those updates. Sorry, man. I feel your pain.
Windows 11 or Putin spyware?
Erdogan and Putin spyware.
I'm shopping for stuff on Amazon at the moment, and I'm noticing that the Affirm option used to show 0% APR, but now it's 10 to 30%. So I think Affirm is recognizing their original model no longer works, and they're trying to adopt more traditional lending models for those borrowing through them.
Wow. Did they not obfuscate that interest rate by just having origination fees?
No, there's no origination fees for Affirm loans. I did it for my e-bike. I'm happily paying my 0% for whatever the fuck long it'll take to pay off. There was no origination fees. It was same as cash.
But now interest rates have gone up too, so the cost of money has. So that's natural. You see that along all lines of credit, from those large purchases to homes, as we know.
I think Hardy's point is that 0 to 10 to 30 is significant. If it was like 3 or 5, then that makes sense.
Sure, but again, that's on.
Well,
the
I would have expected 5 to 7 because that's roughly a 200 basis point spread to Fed funds rate. But the fact that they're jumping 10 to 30 implies that their anticipated default rate is substantial.
Yeah, when we were talking a little bit about credit quality and payments the other day, that's why some of the algorithms have been deemed to be wrong, whether it be the 0% or whatever it's charging for whatever loan. So yeah, they're the riskiest ones, so they're going to see the biggest, since it's the lowest, if you will, on the credit spread, you're going to see the biggest move also. And if their algorithms were wrong, yeah, they have to recoup even more.
So let me toss out a different idea. Maybe they feel like they're now able to get away with charging this much interest, and nobody will notice, or people won't care enough, or at least not a significant amount will.
What about this half-point jump on SPY, guys? What do we think? How do we feel about it? It just happened.
Oh.
Bull market until the summer when they shut down the government because of the debt ceiling.
There was some news about inflation going down earlier.
When does PCE drop? It's this week, right?
Well, they changed how they calculate inflation, so hopefully they can send it down. They're changing the math. Inflation's not actually going down. That's not how it's working.
Not to jump up as the Fed or government's defender, but isn't part of the reason they're changing the math because it pulls out the COVID years, which removes an outlier, or what should potentially be an outlying data source?
How does computing them off of 2020 remove the COVID years? That is the COVID year.
I thought they're just doing it a 1 year back, not a 2 year back. Am I mistaken in the changes?
That's my understanding as well.
It's 1 year, not 2 year?
Yeah, they're just using previous year, not previous 2 years, was my understanding, if I'm mistaken, though.
Right, but if you just use the previous year, so like last year was some of the hottest inflation we've seen. So if you're just using the last year, it will artificially make the inflation look lower. Because the year before that, inflation was actually lower.
Well, I think they're not adopting it until March. Correct me if I'm wrong. Or when does the new methodology come into effect? What's the first
The next
month used?
report. The next report.
Oh.
The next CPI report is going to be using the new methodology. At least I think that's Hardy. That's what you were saying this morning, right?
Yeah, they're basically changing the goalposts.
But how does that actually change how you approach things? Because you're gonna, the people who are really moving the price are gonna know exactly how the methodology works. So
Can't spend more than you have.
So the BLS, starting with the January 2023 data, will update the weights annually from the CPI based on the single calendar year of data. Okay, so what this means is they're using consumer data from 2021 to generate 2023 data. It used to be they would use 2 years of expense data to generate the following data. So instead of the average of 2021 and 2022 to generate 2023 data, they're just using 2021. Now, this is pretty significant for a few reasons. One, in 2020, the savings rate spiked to 30% due to the stimulus, and no one was spending money. It was all going to rent and food. Two, in 2021, spending was elevated in a variety of categories, and specifically entertainment, apparel, and services. And then the third, in 2022, due to inflation, the savings declined to a low level, and people were forced to spend more money on rent, food, and transportation due to the work from home coming back online. And basically, it means that by focusing on 2021, it will show a higher amount of spending in apparel and entertainment, a lower amount of spending on personal transportation because it was work from home, and a lower amount of spending on food and hospitality. So the 2021 data shows higher apparel spend, higher entertainment spend, lower transportation spend, and lower food and hospitality spend. Now, assuming, let's say, housing largely is the same at 35%, food and transportation is at 30%, entertainment, apparel, and hospitality stay at 10%, and the others that make up CPI stay at 25%. That represents roughly what spending was like in 2021. Now in 2023, the actual live data, the environment has changed. Housing's, let's say, only 35%. You'll spend maybe 40% of your income now on food and transportation, since income is down and costs of meat, eggs, and commuting have gone up. And then you cut entertainment and hospitality to 5% from 10%, and the last of the categories sits at 20%. So that is the reality in 2023, but the measure for CPI is using a previous reality from 2021. So it basically means 2021 to 2023 housing is a 2% decline because of stated inflation. Food and transportation is a 15% increase, real increase. Entertainment and hospitality is a 2% decrease to the inflation. And then the other represents a roughly 7% increase. So what the old number would show is 6.6%. That's using the 2-year average. What it'll show instead is 5.3. And that 1.3% matters a lot, especially when it comes to giving J. Powell and Co. the permission effectively to say, hey, look, inflation's coming down, and so will the rates. That all makes sense, or did I lose somebody?
no, that was good. I followed. Was I the only one?
Yeah, that's probably just you and maybe Scald, because Scald actually went to school for this stuff.
I understand. I
got something.
I know they're somewhat cooking the books, so it'll look better, but it will give them cover to not raise so recklessly, without seeing it. So how would you reflect that in a stock play then? What's the move there if they're going to keep rates lower or stop raising them?
Last chance. Disney going to 140 before the debt ceiling collapse in the summer.
As a Disney bag holder, I hope so.
A family Disney bag holder even got colorful stock for his kiddos.
That is correct. If you own Disney stock, you can pay Disney, and they'll send you the stock certificates with all the little characters on them.
They need to change it that the physical stock also lets you skip rides at Disney World or something. Really pump up those numbers.
Also, what about for options?
Almost at capacity with a wait list, so I don't think they need any more.
Hey, Hardy.
Hey, yourself. What's the
Did
question?
he leave? Did he leave again?
No, he's trading.
I do stuff outside of this talk, guys, just to be clear.
All right. Oh no, I just wanted to let you know it is actually pronounced Porsche.
Okay.
That's all.
Very anticlimactic. I'm sorry.
That if I was gonna come in tomorrow, I just had to remember now. Also, you were talking about Porsche earlier. What do you think of their e-fuel that they're working on down in Chile?
I am indifferent. I also secured my NFT batch, so I'm waiting to see if I can sell half on a double.
Oh, congratulations. So it's public minting today, later today, right?
I was wave 2.
How did you get into wave 2? Did you get listed? Allow listed.
So I have tools that listen for all the announcements, and they send them to an inbox for me. And I have like a couple dozen wallets, so I can sign up multiple times for a given waitlist.
Yeah, makes sense.
Good luck, man.
And I don't think it's, I mean, Porsche is the one behind it, but I think it's Road to Dreams or whoever, some third party, as it usually is with these big brands. It's actually doing all of the creation and probably support afterwards.
Oh, absolutely. But Porsche is getting some moderate cut. And I want to know to what extent people are willing to pay for an NFT because they can't afford the car.
I think the bigger
willing
thing.
to pay double what I paid for it, I'm cool. Because if these NFTs go to the moon, I can then use it as collateral to borrow against tax-free. And by selling half on a double, I only get my principal back, so there's no taxable gains.
If you borrow against something, don't you actually get a tax credit?
No.
I would say it depends.
Credit only applies to the interest, but since I'm not paying interest.
Oh, got you.
So I'm reading into this Porsche NFT. It's pretty interesting. Like 7,500 of them, it looks like. Am I in the right area?
So it looks like all the memes are green today. At least all the memes I'm watching. So good for them. Moas soon.
Moas now, at least for me. Lucid's up 8.63% right now, and my calls are up 48%. Or my call is up 48%. So, yeah.
I'm so happy for you. I'm sorry. I saw it pumping.
Thank
this morning.
you.
I know.
We knew it was guaranteed. The first one is always free to trick you into thinking calls are free money. That's how it works.
Well, it's too bad I'm gonna hold on to this bitch still and not cash in those gains.
Do you have an exit price, or is it just to the moon?
It's an earnings play. So like sometime on or around earnings is when I'm gonna trade it. I have a feeling about it.
This isn't like mid-February when
It's like from the 22nd to the 27th, sometime between then.
Yeah, I sold some $7 cash secured puts on Lucid, and those are probably up now too. Won't get the shares, but keep the money from the selling the puts.
Good stuff. Good stuff. We like when people make money.
Ape is up 5%. It is very important. Good to see that.
What was that?
Ape is up 5%. It's very important to watch the movement of Ape.
Yeah, I'm in on that one also.
Okay, what do we think about this? Shorting the Truth Social, Trump's one, because he's going to run for president. Therefore, he's going to have to get back on Twitter.
Well, he's
I
already working on getting back on Twitter, right? Like,
those are the rumors, but it also tanked the stock price. So maybe, and he's like heavily invested.
Well, the deal that
Maybe
he
he's
has
pushing
with
it off.
the deal he has with Truth is he has to post it on Truth Social first. I think with a 2 to 4 hour time. Or yeah, it has to be posted on Truth for several hours before he can post on any other social media, or
So
else he
how
could lose
hard-
his stock options.
How hard would it be to write a bot to just mirror his Truth Social account to a Twitter parody account?
For you nerds, probably not hard at all.
but didn't he actively like put in requests with Twitter and Facebook to get unbanned so he can join back in? And he's like has a team working on statements once he's allowed back in.
No, I think Elon invited him back and he didn't go. Not that long ago, actually.
Yeah,
But this is real
I think his
research.
account is not suspended anymore, and and then when it comes to the presidential side, while he technically should be able to post on both, since he is so heavily invested in Truth with options, I bet he would still post there first.
No, I think he really likes Twitter. I think if allowed back on the platform, he'll be happy to go back to Twitter.
I'm positive there is recent news in the last few days about him trying to get back on Twitter and Facebook.
Facebook's news recently, Twitter account is unsuspended, I think. Recent Facebook.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Now, I'm saying that I don't have a
I was gonna say I just looked it up. Looked like November 20th. He said, "Yeah, come on over." But again, with his deal with Truth Social, there's no way he could do that. It would be corporate suicide. So that's why he didn't do it then. I can't speak to Facebook though.
Okay, so it's rumors, I think, reported by the Rolling Stone, that he's telling people around him that he doesn't want to renew his exclusivity contract that ends in the summer, in June.
That sounds about right.
So yeah, get those DWAC puts. Go for it.
What's the short interest on DWAC? I think it's pretty high. I think it's in the top 10 of short interest for listed companies.
Oh, sorry about that, guys. Just zoned out. What I missed?
So I'll bring up, for the sake of having something put forward, Warner Brothers Discovery, with Last of Us actually being good. There's a chance they might see a pump in at least short-term subscribers to check that out. Same way they kind of got a pump when House of Dragons was good.
Interesting.
How big is HBO Max to that company? I mean, like, in terms of percentage share of revenue, because yeah, HBO Max seems like everything they put out is amazing, but I don't know if it moves the stock enough.
I don't know the percentage of their revenue for it. I just know that for any streaming service, when they finally have something good, they tend to get a bunch of short-term subscribers who then cancel once the show's done. That's kind of how the streaming services go. So they should see a pump in the subscribers to watch it, and then they'll all cancel when it's done.
Beyond this month's 50% gain. Whoa.
I don't know if you guys talked about it yet, but Avatar surpassed 2 billion in global sales, ticket sales.
Yeah, earnings early February. We're going to the moon.
Was that for Disney?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Because that covers the cost of the third and fourth one as well, because they were shooting those at the same time. So they hit their mark. Didn't take too long either.
I mean, those movies are just free money for them, aren't they?
Oh, I am so very sorry. There's plenty of hands that were raised that are now invited up. Sorry for not seeing you earlier, folks.
Thank you. Been looking at Lovesac, a lot of insider buys pretty recently. Looks like it bounced off the 9 EMA on the daily, and it's doing pretty good so far today. I'm kind of looking at that 29.50 area to sell off my 30 Cs and maybe keep some runners. It's also called Lovesac, so I think that's bullish.
Nice.
So, anyone else? I'm surprised that sorry that the SMR hasn't jumped a little bit based on the news of their approval to continue. That's a new scale. The modular, the only publicly traded modular nuclear reactor company.
Wasn't there just like an approval for the whole miniature modular nuclear thing like last week?
It's for them specifically. It's their design.
That's the one Bill Gates is backing, right?
I think so.
You said it was SMR?
Yep. Sad. How do you see Boeing growing?
I just think it's going to be the cost of fuel efficiency. It's going to be a better product, better maintenance cost, and fuel savings. Yeah,
Fuel savings from what?
more efficient engines, lighter aircraft.
Based on a new product or on their existing products? They're not building anything new, right?
Well, technically no, but the 787 wasn't around per se 10 years ago, and that technology is obviously burgeoning, and
the
it's a lot more.
777?
The 787. So that's
787.
That's the one with the battery technology. Relies heavily on batteries.
Yep.
So that's it's like 30% more efficient than the current jet fuel equivalent, I believe. So that's a lot of savings.
Wait. Their batteries are not helping them in that sense, right? In terms of energy density. No, sorry, go.
No, go ahead. Cyril, your point.
Their benefit actually is that if they want to trade out, engine integration is a lot cheaper now for them. So the 787 platform, the engines are not as integrated into the airframe as every other basic airframe is. We can get into the technicals more, but we don't have to.
So you're proving my point then. So you're saying that you got state of the art, manufacturing, mechanical engineering, and then you're backing that up with, you can swap it out with the latest engine technology all the time, which is always updating,
Well, I would say it could make them cheaper. That's for sure. Because they can then punish. It's a lot easier for them to leave an integrator. However, something that's important to recognize is tooling costs. Okay, so tooling cost in aerospace, just take anything and multiply it by 5. Like anything in take car parts basically and multiply it by 10, including the tooling. So operators don't like changing. That's why operators kind of stick with
3D printing.
Stick with a engine manufacturer, and they stick with an airframer, because when changing, it's a pain for them. All of their pilots have to get retrained. All their mechanics have to get different tooling, and it costs a lot to hold all that tooling. Just think of like the shelving space. So that's why they don't like changing up that stuff. So, JetBlue sticking with whomever, I've forgotten who their main, their main airframe is. But and that's why a lot of
If it's
airframes,
Boeing,
a lot are actually going more. They're kind of they're leasing, and they don't do the maintenance themselves. That's why they've gotten out of it, because then they don't have to. They could just take whatever plane they like.
So who's doing the maintenance? Wouldn't that be Boeing? Wouldn't Boeing be making a lot of money on maintenance?
No, not necessarily.
Who's going to be selling the
Lufthansa?
equipment?
Lufthansa does. Lufthansa does a ton of.
Who's going to sell them the equipment to do the maintenance?
To do the maintenance, the supplier themselves, the partnership with Boeing.
So Boeing.
So Boeing, not necessarily, but yes, to some extent. Look, Boeing has a stable market, but they don't have a growing market. That's my argument. They have nothing in the pipeline. They're not running anything in to really push their development. They made this 777X. Okay. They have nothing else. And
I got a socket set for this. I can fix it if you guys want.
So they are working on a new wing design that improves efficiency by about 10%. It's like a truss wing that they're working on.
With NASA? Yeah.
Yeah, I think the total fuel efficiency of a 787 in a current comparison with a jet fuel engine is like 30%. You're talking a big difference in fuel costs and maintenance, less maintenance as well.
Wait, sorry. With who has less maintenance?
The 787s, the new technology, the maintenance is getting more efficient.
Part of the reason why I think is more because 787s are adopting the locomotive model where you have a giant turbine powering an electrical generator, and then the electricity is reused elsewhere instead of having mini turbines and sub turbines and ducting for all of that.
Efficiency.
Yeah, so just look up Boeing truss braced wing. It's just a really high aspect, long, wide wing with a truss that goes down to the bottom of the body, but it basically is just a lot more efficient for long range flight.
Yeah, that's basically the same thing Aerobus was doing, where they came out with that technology that instead of welding, it's like seamlessly melds metals.
You're talking about friction welding.
Correct.
Yeah. They didn't come up with that. They're just using it. But yeah.
I would say they mastered it.
They mastered friction. All right.
I would say they're pretty damn good at it.
From a new orders perspective, what airlines are left to order Boeing airplanes? I mean, hasn't everybody already done their big buys?
Well, they're late. They're pretty back ordered.
Well, and Hardy, you know a lot about the transportation sector. I mean, the demand is just really pent up, isn't it?
Leisure travel is okay, but not really. Part of the problem, at least from my experience transiting Europe, appears to be an unwillingness for people to spend as much money as they used to, probably tightening purse strings in the run-up to a recession. Business travel seems pretty strong. When I was flying Lufthansa, I was fortunate enough to be on the upper deck of a 747. So I was closer to the cockpit than normal. And there was this very, very boisterous group of business Germans just treating it like a beer garden. On the bright side, they were at least polite enough to let me pass when I needed to go to the restroom.
That's my crew.
I see commercial airlines being punished more, as this year. They're not going to do that hot this year.
Obviously, I'm going the other direction.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but prices here in Europe has been skyrocketing for normal airlines. A lot of the companies that got state aid already returned everything. So I don't see why they cannot have great results this year, 2023.
You guys watching Spy right now?
Yeah,
it's pulled up.
So I think we should nominate Hardy to the Secretary of Transportation. He could be our Pete Buttigieg.
Why would I do that? Didn't FAA have a software meltdown like 2 weeks ago?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yep.
It's apparent that you have more knowledge than they do. So we kind of need you, bro.
I don't know. Well, they don't pay well enough for starters.
But you will get like 6 months paternity leave.
I don't intend to have another kid.
You'd be on the executive pay scale there, which is uncapped on the
The
regular
problem with
government pay
government pay scale is that you're at the behest of whichever administration's in power. So I could just as easily be, what's the term? Removed or asked to resign. And I don't think FAA or transportation secretaries do nearly as well on the private speech circuit as Treasury secretaries.
Yeah, but you get the fat lobbying job.
Lobbying whom?
Transportation people. You work for Tesla telling them not to build trains so that he can do his dumb boring tunnel.
Correct, and lobbyists require relationships, of which I have none in government.
Yeah, once again, Hardy, you proved to already have this thought out. The speech writing gig that Janet Yellen has is pretty sweet.
I don't think she even writes her own speeches. She just
for
$500,000.
Yeah, you are correct there. Yeah, just to read those speeches.
I'll apply for the transportation secretary job, but if Hardy's not going to.
So what I've taken from this is get just high enough in the government that you won't be removed as a political appointee, and then you'll be good. You stop right just below it.
My buddy's got a pretty sweet deal. He's like in one of the highest civilian positions, but directly reports to the military. But the thing is that if he was ever going to get removed, it would basically be a 3-year process to get him removed. And the officers that are in charge of that are only placed on the base in 2-year increments before they're rotated out to a new command post. So
how's that for job security?
yeah, him being a programmer, he was like, wait a minute, this means. Anyway, he's a great dude, but pretty funny.
That's a high quality government efficiency right there.
Yeah. I don't want to dox him, but he does some pretty cool work for him. He was the first person I ever saw have an Oculus Rift, like back when Oculus Rift, before they were bought by Facebook and stuff, like way back. Developer Kit 1 thing was huge. Can't wait for the bottom to drop out of this used car market so I can buy a PT Cruiser as a joke. There's this guy here in this neighborhood that, not in this neighborhood, but in this city. He drives around this PT Cruiser that is completely covered in Republican stuff, and it has like a Trump that sits out the moonroof. He's got like a full-on cutout of Donald Trump that's like comes out the
You should
moonroof.
take a picture, Scald.
Oh, there's actually the Columbus, Ohio subreddit actually has several pictures of this guy's PT Cruiser already posted to Reddit, so I should be able to find it. Pretty notorious. Like just link it here.
I've seen that. I came from Columbus before I moved to Tampa area. I've seen that dude. The thing is insane. So what are you gonna do? You gonna do one with Biden sticking out the sunroof or what?
Yeah. I'm just gonna buy one. Just like cover it in like coexist stickers and rainbow flags and stuff. It's gonna look like it just fell out of a drag show. This PT Cruiser with Biden. It's gonna be great.
Sounds like an episode of Top Gear.
Put the eyelashes on the headlights.
Oh, nice, good one. I didn't think of that.
Or you could put the brawl or the brassiere on it, if you will, just to really push that drag element.
Hey now. Don't drag me down.
So GameStop quietly up 5%, Bed Bath & Beyond down 6%. Market's moving.
Check out Tesla and Netflix. Those things are ripping.
And I'll say it for him. Lucid's ripping too.
Hey, hypothetically.
That's right. My call is currently up 55.6%. And I'm still holding on to this 42 cent a share $10 call for March 3rd.
All the Chinese stocks are going pretty well too. Rheinmetall is down though, 1%, 1.2%.
You win some, you lose some. But yeah, Hua, Tencent, Baidu, they're all doing all right. I'm not a huge fan of the Chinese stocks, but I did have that Hua. I just thought the Chinese version of Netflix would be making a little bit of a comeback here.
About Baba. I got a free partial share of Baba yesterday.
Baba's just like, here's my thought. Like, it's such a large company now, and I view the Chinese stocks as very speculative investments regardless of their size. It's one of the reasons I don't have a lot of money in it. Because I'm like, well, if I'm going to be doing risky stuff in China, I might as well just like look for the real moonshots.
I like defined risk through options on Chinese companies. There's so much action there, you know.
The only one I was really into it back like 2 years ago was JD.com.
Hell
Like,
yeah.
that company, that company just prints money, but
Fucking
it's
great.
never reflected on the stock price.
I have a price target of like 110, 120. I actually just lapsed my wash sale window, so I'll be looking to pick some up on the dip.
What do we think about selling covered calls on GameStop?
I've
How
been
long?
doing that for a while now. Weeklies.
Yeah. I mean, hasn't it been run poorly though since all the meme shit? Are you worried about it falling out from under you?
There's plenty of meat on that bone. And I don't mind if the price of GameStop falls below roughly $7 a share. That's the price below which I start losing money net of all the premium I've harvested.
Well,
Good night, video.
we gotta go call a guy about an alternator. I will see you all later.
I thought you drive a Tesla, Skull. Why do you need an alternator?
I do not drive a Tesla. Who told you that? I drive a Jeep.
Oh, never mind.
Oh yeah, yeah. We don't have EVs over here. We've got. I drive a Jeep. Wife drives a. Was it Town and Country? One of the higher trim level Town and Countries, I think it is. Yeah. It's nice, man. That minivan, like sitting in it, it reminds me of being on like an airplane. Like it's got its own little screens for every seat to play movies and stuff, and wow, it's
Just
real
get a
comfortable.
Sprinter jet van, it's called, and a driver to go with it. You'll be fine.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Windows roll down on the side doors of the van too.
What was that? What else? Side doors?
Do the windows roll down on the side doors? Don't they?
Yeah. What? Do they not on some vans? I think they do. I've never.
Well,
seen
when
them.
I had them way back in the day, they didn't. But yeah, the new ones low key look pretty slick.
Yeah, interestingly enough, the thing also has a 1,600-pound towing capacity, which, surprisingly gets used when I fold down all the seats and load the entire thing up with garden soil or mulch or, other things like that. So, between that and the Jeep, we can get it done.
I didn't realize you were such a newbie there, Scald. Yeah, back in the day, vehicles didn't even have electric windows. You had to actually roll them down, believe it or not.
Oh, my first car had the crank windows. It was it was great. In fact, the nice thing about those crank windows is you could always use the crank to roll the windows up and down, even if the electric part died. I feel like we're missing out by not having that thing.
Right. If you park your car in the swimming pool like Tesla did.
Right.
I think I remember reading it. Didn't somebody drown that way? They couldn't get out because they couldn't open it.
You have to
that's pretty bad.
understand the weight of the water against the surface area of the door. You're not going to open the door.
And they couldn't roll down the windows either. I guess it shorted it out quickly.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a giant battery hitting a pool of water. But I mean, I think you would keep one of those little window breakers, wouldn't you? I mean, I would keep one of those.
I would imagine the easiest solution is don't put your car into the water. Would probably be the best solution to those types of problems, right? They're not really designed for aquatic travel anyway.
Yeah, but if you don't fuck around, you never find out. Come on.
Every car's a submarine once.
Well, here in Kentucky, we would grab our weapon on our side, the one we keep in the glove box, or the one that's hanging over the rear view window. So just shoot it out.
Okay, I suppose a pistol could double as a window breaker.
Yeah, but would it leave a hole or would it shatter the window?
You can use the headrest for that. If you take it off, it has a glass breaker.
Oh,
see, that's why my ring is made of tungsten carbide, harder than glass, so I can shatter with.
Yeah, the little window breakers are like
over here. Whoever just said that.
Yeah, I like the little window breaker. They're like $20-$30 now. Have a little, and it even has a seatbelt cutter on it too, so you can cut your belt, smash the window, and swing.
Yeah, there's several options. There's ones like a hammer with a really sharp point. There's one that's even spring loaded. You just press it against the window and it'll shoot out a little ceramic tip.
I was just showing my daughter actually this morning on the way to school. I'm like, that's what this is, because she was like, "What is that?" and asking me.
Yeah, but no, if you do take the headrest all the way out, you will notice that the base of the headrest are slightly pointed, very similar to those window breaking hammers. And that is intentional.
That's a function of that. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, most people don't.
There's a lot of cool features in vehicles, but seems like they forget to tell people. They invent them in the R&D facility, and then it's like, that's nice, and then it goes into the market, and you're like, did you know?
It's on the instructions of the car, but no one's reading that.
No, and that's not the time where most of us. It's not until something breaks that we break out the manual. You're not going to sit there underwater going, "Let me see. Hold on. No.
Bold of you to assume people still own their car manuals.
Depends on how good the door inner and outer seals are. You might have a little bit of time under there.
9-7. Got it. Hold on, right?
I'll tell you, after I got in a pretty bad car accident, I came out just speaking absolute gibberish. But, I had a little bit of brain damage. Anyway, another story for another time.
Hey, fun fact, guys. A lot of manufacturers are starting to put owner's manuals into the infotainment screens.
Yep. And also the SOS button, which is pretty handy if you have an accident and everything stops working.
Mercedes has level 3 now. It's just a matter of time.
Something else that works well on Windows, if you take a spark plug and take a hammer to it and collect a piece of that ceramic, you can just easily toss it at any window and it will shatter. Now, most people won't keep a crushed up spark plug in their console, so there's that. But the other part was just a fun fact.
It is indeed fun fact. This is car tips with Wall Street Bets. Stuff you don't expect.
So, like, I've got my 60,000 mile coming up, so I'll just ask for all the used spark plugs in a bag when I get my tune-up. I'm gonna need that, safety reasons.
Or you can go buy one for like $1.97 at O'Reilly's. But yeah, that too.
If you ask for your own one, they'll give them to you, no problem.
I've got a question for somebody here. Leapin' Leopard, are you also Roaring Kitty? No response. I'll take that as a yes.
What?
Okay, cool.
Did you call me out? I think I missed that.
Oh, yeah. I was just asking if you were Roaring Kitty.
Oh, no. No, that's not me.
That's what Roaring Kitty would say. Checks out.
Yo, real talk car question. Is there states where you can still sell stolen catalytic converters?
What?
I'll echo that question. What?
You're asking for a friend?
Yeah, dude, this friend of mine.
Yeah, tell me your portfolio isn't doing well without telling me your portfolio isn't doing well.
Well, you can go to your local junkyard, but it's, probably a 50-50 chance that you will or will not get reported. But who knows? You could retire.
Just sell them a used car with a trunk full of them. And then, I also happen to have this stuff.
So guys, NVIDIA only goes up. Confirmed.
Man, the spy has just resolved a skull squiggle and is continuing to the moon. Those of you who haven't heard about the skull squiggle, it's a thing I've been noticing on various charts. It's 2 overlapping red candles, followed by 2 green candles, then a spinning top doji. After that pattern resolves on the candles, it then either moves violently, either up or down, based on the previous 15-minute rolling average. So if it was going up, it continues going up. If it was going down, it continues rocketing downward.
Hey, Skull, didn't you mention a while back that you have an acquaintance or know someone who will melt down silver?
I do. It's just the guy who's asking about catalytic converters.
No, I'm saying it for him. What he needs to do is just cut out the precious metals inside and then sell it to you, and then you can sell it to your friend, and everybody makes money.
Yeah, one of the largest precious metal smelters in the world is here in Southern Ohio. In a place called Jackson, Ohio. It's like the only industry in that city. They smelt gold, platinum, silver, and they used to, I've not been there in many years, but they used to pay 98% of the spot price. So you could take like a literal bar of gold there, and they would just hand you a pile of cash. But I don't know if that's still going on.
There's a lot of pawn shops that will do that for gold and silver. Will pay you close to spot price because they can, especially if it's they collectible coins, because they can get more than spot. But in saying that, on the coins, they're worth most of the time they're worth more than spot.
Yeah, and I mean that's the tough one, right? It's like how do you clear out like a group of precious metals as close as possible to spot? But there's a lot of gold posts on WallStreetBets today. I don't know if you guys have seen it. There's a lot of posts about countries' gold reserves and how America is number one. USA.
I mean, after all, our dollar is backed by. Oh, never mind. Jet.
Well, up till 1967.
Look, I just want to know how many cans of beans can I trade in my gold bar for at that place? That's what I'm really looking for.
I just want to know if the crown jewels of Hungary are still in Fort Knox. We got the crown jewels of various kingdoms and stored them in Fort Knox during World War II. And I think we kind of Kohinoor diamond some of them. Like some of them you just stopped hearing about and people stopped asking for them back. I'm like, do we got some just like crowns and stuff in there? It was pretty interesting.
Yeah. The problem with gold is it's too heavy to carry around. There was I can't remember the dude's name, the hedge fund billionaire guy years ago started a company that has little gold. It's a thin sheet about the size of a credit card, but then it's scored or perforated where you can break off even a little smaller, like 1 gram chunks. That's what you need for your bean.
Yeah, man, if you've ever been to Europe, you know how annoying it gets. You're in Europe, and after like a week, your pocket is like weighed down to the point where your slacks are sagging because you got like 25 euros worth of coins in there. You know, like got to carry around a coin purse like a medieval peasant or something. Like, what's going on?
That's why Simple was so angry this morning.
You see, Scald, if you just be poor, then you won't have that coin problem weighing you down.
Yeah, just travel the hostels of Europe and live out of a backpack. That sounds pretty fun, actually. I spent a summer living out of a backpack. It was pretty great. I was hiking the Appalachian Trail. I reflect back fondly on that time. It was a pretty calm period of my life. Just woke up every morning and my only focus was hiking to the next water source. Pretty easy. Easy stuff.
Okay, you guys, Egon's chicken predictions are live. He is bullish on SPY this week. There he is, saying hello to WallStreetBets. And he's also bullish on New Egg, but he's not a fan of calm price gouging on the eggs. He says calm goes down. He's happy this morning.
Chicken in the background. The funniest thing.
Isn't there a conflict of interest there with him betting on New Egg? I think that shouldn't be allowed.
No, Calm. He's actually Calm's competition currently because
he's trying to tell us his insider info right now.
Yeah.
Oh, friendly information. Friendly information.
Yes, I've got a little friendly information going on in the other.
This friendly rooster story.
He's speaking in code, and it's funny. He just actually started crowing yesterday. That's his very first crow because he's a little tweener. So yeah, now he's found his voice.
Yeah, it's funny now. See how funny it is in a few weeks when he won't stop.
Oh, I have lots of roosters. I used to have one that serenaded at my bedroom window at 6 o'clock in the morning.
I have a question for the chicken lady here. It's probably most people should know this, and because I'm American, I don't. What is the difference in the white egg and the white or the brown egg? Is it just a different species of chicken?
It's just a different breed of chicken. The egg's all the same on the inside. Doesn't matter what the color of the egg is. I have blue eggs and green eggs and purple eggs and pink eggs, but it's all just an egg. The different breeds lay the different colors.
Wait, you have green eggs and ham?
I do have green eggs and ham.
I thought they only came in brown and white. So see, here I'm learning. I'll be damned.
Yeah, there's even a really pretty, almost like a chocolate dark purple egg. There's all kind. I have cream colored eggs.
Oh, lady, you don't have a chicken. You have an Easter bunny.
Actually, there's a chicken called an Easter egger because of the colorful eggs they lay.
You sure they're not producing gold?
I do not have. I do have 3 geese, but none of them lay golden eggs, unfortunately.
So, do you have any concern with this bird flu that everyone's saying is going around like crazy? Is that a thing that you see happening, or?
Well, I don't. I mean, I live at the end of a dirt road, and so I don't really have that concern for my chickens. I do know that my sister-in-law has a chicken farm, and they've gone into serious protocols for their chicken farm. Even the trucks that deliver the feed have to pressure wash their tires before they come on the property, and the driver has to put on PPE and booties and everything just to deliver the feed to their location.
Now, are those egg laying chickens or raised for meat?
They are egg layers, but their egg layers are for making new chickens. That they have roosters in the farm to fertilize the eggs, and then the truck comes and gets all the fertilized eggs, and they do that for 6 months, and then the chickens turn into chicken soup. They come and
Don't
get
lie.
it for.
Are you in the Wonka factory?
What's that?
Are you actually in the Wonka factory? Like, what am I listening here? Pink eggs? Purple eggs?
I'll post a picture of some of my eggs, the colors of my eggs on Chicken Stonks, so you can see them.
All right. And so another bird question on a goose. Will they lay an egg if no, whatever, say the male goose isn't around? So an
Yes,
unfertilized egg
they
like a
all
chicken?
do.
They will too?
They all do. They're just not fertilized. And just a little FYI, Aegon's paper trading account on his trades is up $12,160 year to date. So he's doing quite well.
Are you following his trades with your real money?
There are several people that are following his trades with real money. Only Outcome is following his trades with real money, and MBev opened an Aegon account too, I believe.
Oh, that's awesome. Cool.
Is this like your version of that hamster that used to pick stocks?
Yes. I'm
I love it.
proving that chickens are smarter than goldfish and hamsters.
And I'm pretty sure it was like 2020 or late 80s, early 90s. They did the same thing with the chicken and outperformed all the Wall Street guys. I love it.
So what do you make more money on? Aegon's trading account or selling the eggs?
Aegon's trading account.
That's the new rent a chicken model. Screw the eggs. We just want the picks.
Hey, so does anyone understand what's going on with Tesla?
Elon's in court testifying today.
Cut prices dramatically.
Maybe they're hoping he gets removed.
I thought he already said that he was installing some dude from China as the CEO of Tesla, and then he's putting Mr. Beast in for Twitter.
He's got a Chinese specific CEO, but that CEO will not control any of the other business. He still oversees all of it. And yes, he hasn't named the successor, but I think that would be a sell the news moment once a new Twitter boss is. He's announced that he's looking for someone, but he hasn't actually officially stepped aside.
Yeah, I didn't think he had officially stepped aside. I just thought he had who was going to be replacing him picked. But again, I could have just not read that correctly or or misremembered it.
Yeah, I mean it's over 140 right now, which is crazy to think. I mean, we were all discussing whether it was going to hit 100 not that long ago. So, well, we all know it's a very volatile stock. But yeah, it's up like everything else is up. So I guess recession's canceled, guys. Woo, and gals.
Yeah, 23 just started, gentlemen and ladies. Long way to go.
Yeah, I didn't think it. Go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to ask, there's something announced about semis today. So NVIDIA and AMD are just skyrocketing.
Yeah, the semiconductor ETF is up also. SOXL, it's up 10% today. Nice pump.
Hey, so if a chicken egg is the size relative or closely of a golf ball, what is the size of a goose egg?
About 4 times the size of a chicken egg.
That would
Close
make
to a softball, but not quite. Somewhere between a baseball and a softball.
How much does a hen weigh?
Okay, now I want a soft-boiled goose egg.
Their goose eggs are ginormous. They equal 4 to 6 smallish eggs.
Have you guys tried? Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna ask if you guys have tried the jumbo eggs and if different sized eggs come from different sized hens, or if any hen can produce any size egg.
Well, you can get different sizes depending on the breed, but as a rule, the older the hen, the larger the egg. They start out real tiny. Their first egg is usually just the cutest itty bitty thing, and 9 out of 10 times it doesn't even have a yolk in it. It's just got the white in it on their first egg, and then as they get older, their eggs get larger and larger.
Oh, fascinating.
But different breeds all like silkies, they're little bitty chickens, and they usually weigh anywhere from 3 to 5 pounds, and they always lay little eggs. And then like the Buff Orpingtons or the Cochins, they're larger hens. They're between 7 and 10 pounds, and they start with bigger eggs just because of the breed.
What do you think is the best use of larger eggs, no matter what, whether it's a swan or just a larger chicken? What's the best way to cook those, or how would you?
I usually make a frittata with them because they're a richer egg and they stand up to having the ingredients in the recipe better. Duck eggs and goose eggs I use for frittatas.
Omelets too, or not as big omelet?
If you want a fluffy omelet, then no. If you want a dense omelet, then yes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I have one customer that uses duck eggs for ice cream. I didn't know you put eggs, but he uses his great grandma's recipe, and so I give him duck eggs for his ice cream.
So, are we supposed to refrigerate eggs?
If they're washed, if they're fresh eggs, they can sit on the counter for weeks. See, an egg that you buy in the store has been laid for like sometimes 6 to 8 months before it actually gets on the store shelf.
I thought the big difference between North America and other places is the vaccinations of the chickens versus spraying some sort of chemical to keep salmonella off of the eggs. Is that?
I don't when I wash them before I give them to a customer, I just use a little apple cider vinegar to wash them. I guess the bigger outfits would have to do something like that, but white eggs have usually been bleached before they sell them, which ew. But I don't vaccinate. If we do have a sick chicken, I usually treat that with herbs. It works pretty well.
Herbs and spices and a little bit of flour.
No.
I was going to ask if herbs was your shotgun, but never mind.
Actually, oregano works great for any kind of illness that chickens might have, and they love having it mixed in their food.
I saw a meme the other day talking about, it was showing how that eggs and toilet paper used to be so cheap. That's what you would throw at your enemies' houses.
Yeah, I did a couple eggings when I was a teenager. We threw eggs and corn.
I've never heard of people throwing corn, you redneck.
Yeah.
I'm from Kentucky.
A friend of mine had his dad had a farm and they had corn, so we'd get a bunch of corn out of the silo and do eggings and cornings.
That sounds very corny.
Ba-dum-bum. I love that Egon serenading you all this morning. He's really proud that he found his voice.
I love it. I love it so much.
There's MVev. He just got here. MVev, they were asking about your Egon account. Egon likes it.
No, thank you. No, I've been tied up with family stuff, and so when I set up that account, I didn't write down the password, and they're making me verify my account through the bank wire.
Oh crap!
And I just haven't done that, which I'll get to this week. So I didn't start his trades yet. But I know the paper account was doing good as far as real money. I'm probably going to start it this week. I just need to put it on my list to do it. And just mother-in-law stuff. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Egon has agreed to accept his 3% from MVev in mealworms.
I agree for that thing.
Poultry-based hedge fund.
I remember watching a video of seeing chickens just going to town and just tearing up little mice, just swallowing them whole, just like they're dinosaurs, man.
They
They're
do.
vicious.
They are. Yep, they do.
And any of us that have played video games know you do not hit the chickens because they will kill you right there. Right there.
We used to have a rooster named Asshole, and that's because he was vicious. He would flog you. You would come back bloody. He had these big, long, sharp spurs, and he would sneak up behind you and flog you on the back of your legs. Vicious. He was vicious. That's why his name was Asshole.
It's been forever since I've had a farm fresh egg, but if I remember correctly, aren't the yolks darker, and that's due to their diet? If I remember correctly, they're darker than you would get, say, the store-bought ones.
Yeah, they're darker because A, they're fresher. B, they're like mine. They have 6 acres to free range. They get all the stuff they need. They can forage, but they're almost an orange color. If you put one of mine in a bowl next to an organic egg from the store, it's going to be like a pale yellow versus the rich orange of the and you have to chase them around in the bowl when you're scrambling them because the yolks don't want to break because they're just rich and dense. Happy chickens make happy eggs.
I remember one of my relatives talking, it's been a long time ago as well. I don't remember the exact procedure, but they were talking about canning food and other stuff, but they would preserve their eggs through the winter. I don't remember if they would put them in some type of water or brine, but As long as they were fully submerged for the winter, they would have fresh eggs. They would just collect extra year round. I could be misremembering that though. That's
No,
probably been
I think Mr. Elderberry glasses eggs to keep them through the winter. Mine keep us going. I can't sell as many over the winter as I do spring and summer because we have to have them because they do slow down production. I don't put lights on them. A lot of people do because the amount of light in the winter has an effect on egg production, but it also reduces the length of time your chicken will lay eggs and like the number of years if you put light on them in the winter and don't give them that break.
You ever had a chicken go rogue and start eating the eggs and you have to dispatch the chicken?
Not really. I mean, I've had a few egg eaters that have tried it, but usually all you have to do is take an egg, like take the yolk out, tap it on the end and take the egg out and fill it up with mustard, and because chickens don't like mustard, and let them get a mustard egg, and they don't mess with them anymore.
That is interesting. I had heard or read somewhere before that if a chicken ever started eating eggs, you had to get rid of the chicken because once they started, they wouldn't stop and others would follow. But never heard of the mustard trick.
Yeah, just plain yellow mustard will stop them. Egon approves this message.
What else? I thought they would eat anything. What else do they not want then? Mustard, and I guess something with capsaicin in it, pepper.
No, they don't. They don't taste hot like we do. They only have their taste buds are very minimal. WallStreetBets has turned into a chicken talk opinion.
I don't think opinion minds as long as there's engagement.
No, that's not true. There's lots of stuff that gets engagement that don't make sense to do around here, but I am very much enjoying this chicken talk. I have personally learned a lot. There was a time when one of the Reddit admins was actually pitching me on getting chickens because she had just gotten some of her own, and I was very close to getting some until I realized that they're not allowed in my city.
A lot of cities have an ordinance where you're not allowed to have a rooster, but you can have a few backyard hens. A lot of people do that. I adopt because where I live, I'm outside of the city, but the people inside the city aren't allowed to have roosters. So I adopt some from some friends of mine that have chickens. When they end up with a roo, he comes and lives here.
Aww.
But an interesting fact, if 1 in 3 people in the United States had 3 hens, the egg industry in the United States would be out of business.
That's 900 million chickens.
Do you?
I read last year something that it was a tendency in San Francisco for guys to have chickens in their apartments or something like that. Is that true?
I don't know. I've had house chickens before.
Chickens are outlawed in a lot of suburbs because of the noise, but probably it has something to do with protecting the egg industry.
Oh, I'm sure.
I did go ahead and jump into the PBR 1250 weeklies expiring this week. Sorry, calls.
Calls on those?
Yeah, 1250 call PBR expiring
Roger.
Friday. I got it for
Nice.
7 cents.
Nice.
And I'm sorry, that was a nice play, but back to chicken talk. I recently learned that Brazil is actually one of the biggest exporters, maybe the biggest exporter of chicken, and they export all parts of the chicken except for my favorite part, which is the chicken heart. because they consume chicken hearts domestically. They consume all that they produce.
Yep.
Oh wow, I didn't know
they
that.
barbecue a lot. Yeah, they barbecue a lot. That's delicacy, right? English word for that.
It is a wonderful hunk of chicken.
Yep.
The way the Brazilians do it, I don't know exactly how to reproduce it, but apparently they use a lot of salt.
Yep, they do.
I'm traveling to Sao Paulo next month, so I will find out for you, Hardy, and do some on-the-ground DD.
Yeah, but São Paulo is a city, a very large city. You won't find much of that there.
Oh, is it mostly in rural areas?
You have to go to the favelas.
Favelas?
Favelas, yes. They will serve your heart there.
Oh God.
This Friday, my nephews are going to be taking possession/ownership of, well, not ownership, but curatorship of 250,000 chickens for either Tyson or Purdue. So they just purchased a chicken farm a couple weeks ago. They're supposed to get their first batch of chickens this Friday.
I visited my sister-in-law's chicken farm one time. It wasn't anything I ever want to do again.
These are going to be for meat, so I don't know if they'll have to have their feet sprayed like you were saying, but it's like 8 huge houses. I don't know, they're several hundred feet long each and 20 feet wide.
Yeah, their broilers, they grow really, really fast. So their turnover is fast. They'll have their chickens in and out in a few months, and they'll
I think it's
pull
8 weeks, right?
everything out of the house, sanitize the whole thing, and start the whole process again.
Yeah. I think it takes 8 weeks to raise a chicken.
Yeah, I think it's what they said. They'll bring them in chicks, and then I think it's 8 or 10 weeks, but I think it's 8, and then they'll come in with basically almost like a giant vacuum, and people to chase them, and they suck them right into the tractor trailers, and then you put down your new, I think it's like a rice husk floor, clean it, sanitize it, whatever, and then do it all over again.
Yeah, the turnover is really fast on that.
Yeah, they have to. That's why the chickens are, at least here in Europe, they are normally sold without the feet, because the feet are burned from all the poop they have to walk on.
Yeah, I'm not really looking forward to my Wingstop trip now.
Yeah, the floors definitely don't get cleaned out. I mean, you do some routine cleaning. You have to go in and collect the ones that'll die during the night. I think there's about a 3% is what they allow that don't make it. But yeah, the floor doesn't get cleaned until that batch is out and the next one comes back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know at my in-laws, they incinerate the poor dead soldiers. It's not a light. I mean, it's horrible. It's terrible. I don't like it. And they didn't use the vacuum thing. They actually have these guys that come in and cage all the birds when they leave, and it's kind of pitiful. It's sad to see. I'm sad I ever went over there.
I think the average space they have is like a letter, right? I don't know if you guys call it in the US, but it's like a A4 letter. It's like 20 centimeters.
About a cubic foot? A little less than a cubic foot?
I have no idea what's a cubic foot.
That's about 3.8 liters.
I don't know the exact dimensions, but I want to say that each house that they have is, we'll say, 20 feet wide and 200 to 300 foot long at minimum. And then there's 8 houses up. 8 different houses. Now, some people only have 4, other people have 16 houses, but theirs is 8.
Yeah, theirs it's just full as far as you can see, just jam-packed full with chickens. Like, you have to move them out of your way to even walk. So I don't, 1 square foot sounds about right, Hardy, because a chicken would take up about 1 square foot. So
yeah, 30 centimeters, yeah, around that, yeah. That's the only space I have to live the entire life.
I remember watching a video a long time ago of the I think it was a spot where they would take the eggs that are hatching, and they would keep the female chicks, and then the male chicks and the cracked eggs just went on down the conveyor belt right straight into a grinder because all they wanted was the female chicks.
Yeah, there's this chicken sexer that's responsible for that, right? Figuring out
Yes, we see that.
But, you know, a funny story, a chicken sexer has to blow on the chick's bottom and look for the vent. So there's someone that actually gets paid to blow on chicken butt.
Okay, don't they do that and they have to like just slightly or gently squeeze? There was an episode years ago of Mike Rowe, his dirty jobs, and he was doing it to turkeys. And it was, yeah. I didn't know that's how they did it. You got to basically squeeze them gently. Okay, know what you are now.
Yep, a chicken sexer blows on chicken butt.
I mean, there's worse jobs.
Yes, this week working at Google, right, and Microsoft.
One side question.
Yes.
What's anybody's annual returns?
2022, across all my equity and derivatives trading, we're up about 41%.
Well, yeah, 2022, I hate to brag, I ended up negative 46%. However, I was down at one point 54% until I started using Hardy's sell half on a double. So again, mine was only down 48 or 49%.
So net, you were up 3%, 8%.
Yeah, it's you know, it's all speculative. Depends on how you look at it. So thank you, Hardy. Now it could be up a lot more if Reddit would have given me one of those golden avatars. Damn it!
Yeah, those were not too shabby.
I never got mine. It's a shame.
I think they did not count. They only counted things prior to January 2022, and they did not count, you know, any activity really other than karma, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, so meme beats DD. Oh well.
They, I really tried to swing them a different way, but
Damn, Hardy. You're right, but yeah, that's kind of. I mean, that's funny, but not. But yeah, memes are always better. That's shit.
I think the bigger thing is like, what kind of policy is it that you launch an NFT in 2023 or end of 2022, but you pick people who were highly active in the year leading up to January 2022? Like, it's like a full year there, like user churn.
And so Hardy posted 8 different trades you can pick for what 46 weeks out of the year, but some dude posted wins Lambo, and now he's got, you know, a golden avatar. That's bullshit. I'm offended on his behalf.
It is what it is. You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit.
Good question for Hardy.
What's up?
How much is your gains if you don't use derivatives?
So like my dollar return for just equity holdings?
Let's say you don't do derivatives.
No idea, because I pretty much almost exclusively trade derivatives. I do hold shares in like a Boomer account, and I do have stuff at ComputerShare, but those gains, because they were paid for by derivatives, are effectively infinite.
So you would say like 5%?
Much higher than that. Probably 22, 23.
Okay, thanks.
Sorry, just a quick question. What are you going to do with this information now?
No, just checking if I'm doing so bad or I'm doing okay.
Look, the only benchmark you need is SPY. If you're beating SPY, you're doing better than like 90% of the hedge funds.
Did you see the report on the top 20 hedge fund earnings?
No.
Do share opinion.
It's pretty much Citadel coming out with 16 billion, which you might have seen that headline. and then I think it was DE Shaw with another 8 billion, and then everyone else was middling about or down badly. Can't remember which one. There was one firm that was down something like 10 billion out of assets under management of, I think, 30 or 50, no, 15 or 25.
Can you say in a percentage?
I cannot off the top of my head. I'll have to check for that. But
Citadel would be 13 billion against 56 billion in assets, right? So whatever 13 over 56 is, I think it's 25%.
I think it was 16. Are you seeing 13?
It's $65 billion in liabilities, but $56 billion in assets.
Oh, sorry, I meant like 16 billion in gains, or is it 13 billion? Or am I just off?
Not 13 billion in gains for the hedge fund. You may be including the market maker side if you're doing 16.
And the index is like what right now? It's negative something?
Interest rate is 4.25%.
And high bond returns are like 6.8 to 6.9, something like that. What's the catch with iBond again? Like, do you have to hold them for?
Capped at $10,000.
Ah. Also, no Canadians allowed.
You can start up a hedge fund that invests $10,000.
I'm not
I thought there was a way for Canadians to do it, actually. It's just
Marry an
messy.
American. That's what makes it messy.
Words hurt. No, you're right.
Man, it's not worth it now.
Yeah, what? It was 9 something, now it's 6 something. Yeah. Ship sailed.
And you have to hold it for 5 years, right? That's the or there's a penalty of some sort.
Yeah, I heard there's a penalty.
I think the penalty goes away after, I want to say, a year, maybe 6 months to a year. There is a loophole into it. It's still worth it, essentially, with the way the 9% interest rate was, if that makes sense. You could use it as a short-term vehicle.
Hey, does anybody know Bill Gross?
Not
personally.
No, like I mean, like his trading strategy.
About it.
Because I wonder if it would work if you use ETF bonds.
You mean like the 20 or the, what is it, the TLT?
Well, as far as I know, he used just regular bonds, but since there's like the limit, like you get the ding if you trade it. I wonder if you could use the same method for ETF bonds instead.
I do want to point out that he made his money in the bull run of fixed income bonds powered by ABS and MBS platforms. So I'm not entirely sure his strategy would work today.
Good to know.
I don't want to go too deep into portfolio and risk tolerance, but with bonds, the thing you want to look at in this kind of interest rate move, how we've had these kind of face-ripping rallies and falls of interest rates, is know your duration, know your credit quality. That includes ETFs too. Know what you're buying. And you're probably pretty young, so I wouldn't make it a large part of your portfolio. That's the way I look at them. Bonds did absolutely horrible last year because, of course, when interest rates are going up, the price goes down. So those ETFs took a bath last year, seen as safe investments when, if it's the wrong environment, having a large portion of them are not. Now, this year, I think a lot of people have already flipped that, thinking that the rates are going to drop or stabilize. So they saw the opportunity in it. So there is a place for it in your portfolio, but you can get real, just like with anything else, you can get very detail oriented. So just don't think bond ETF and it's safe money.
Sorry, say the last thing you cut off.
Oh, sure. I said just don't think it just because if it's a bond ETF that it's safe money, because they can lose principal too.
Oh, I'm not worried about the principle. It's just worried that there's the rule that you can't really trade bonds, but in the ETF, since it's very fluid, you kind of like bypass it a bit.
Sure, there is a lot more liquidity in any ETF, and especially for smaller investors, it is a good way for you to enter that market and capture those gains, if you will, in the interest rates. So I agree with you. There is a place for it, but just don't, do your research.
Hardy, I got a question for you, if I may. I think you said earlier today that you're bullish on the market. So I have
short term, very, very short term.
Q. So now I have 170 shares. If I remember correctly, it's like $48 and maybe 48 cents a share. How many years do I have to wait for the next recession to wait for that to go back up?
Maybe 2.
What do you mean you are bullish in the short term?
So keep in mind, because the unemployment data net of the tech layoffs won't actually be visible in unemployment data until most likely the May reporting, the unemployment numbers will stay low, which means bullish.
Okay, I'm asking that because here in Europe you are hearing that the recession is only coming in 2024 now, as the energy prices didn't rose as much as they expected, and the winter is very mild. So
yeah, I think mild winter is going to really help European energy markets.
Yep. Yeah, the gas is still in 80-something%, and they were expecting to be very low now.
Do we see what next year in terms of purchasing of oil is going to be like, or no? Are they going to be able to maintain this?
They will be able, at least in Europe, yes. Because now they have built in record time in Germany, which is the biggest consumer. They build a terminal that is very huge. So they will be able to receive all the ships coming from the US and store there a lot. Like, I think I heard something like they will double the capacity or something. Don't quote me here, but it's a very large increase. So they started the winter with 96% the tanks full, and now in end of January they are still 83%. So they didn't consume as much as they were planning.
This is NLG.
Yes. Which is the main fuel for the factories in Germany and in France. So this is why they are saying the recession won't come this year, as everyone is already recovering. So I was just asking you guys if you are hearing the same on the US side, or everyone is still expecting the recession to hit hard this year.
The recession is canceled. Didn't you hear?
Yes, I hear, but I just wanted to know if I didn't got a translation error or something.
It's not a translation error. European recession is likely going to be delayed a year or two, and a lot of that is because of all the aid being used to fire up industry to funnel resources into Ukraine. So the fact that European industry is being engaged means more jobs, more velocity of money, and therefore later recession.
So good for us.
Is this going to be a hitchhiker's guide if you just keep falling with missing the ground? Just keep pushing the recession out until there's no recession.
Exactly.
So does that mean if the war ends? Sorry to interrupt, but if the war ends, that means that you'll go into recession in Europe?
There would need to no, because then you have the rebuilding effort.
Yes,
that's true. No, they have pretty much leveled some cities, or damn near.
And they are also rebuilding the stockpiles of the armies. No,
And who's paying for it?
Mexico.
You.
No.
Nice.
The various NATO countries are paying it out of their defense budgets, which is something that Trump pushed for during his presidency.
Well, we assume that Russia's losing, right?
Even if Russia loses, there will still likely need to be some sort of occupation force within Russia proper to enforce the terms of surrender.
Wouldn't be the
your
payment?
theory on the end of the war is Ukraine pushes into Russia and forces a treaty?
Well, Putin's not going to surrender, so there will be some point when Ukraine goes on the offensive, when it's politically acceptable for Ukraine to go on the offensive. Otherwise, you end up perhaps, but otherwise you're stuck at a stalemate along Ukraine's 1990s borders and Russia's. Excuse me, Russia's.
And you have been since 2014, and you are going to live with that, as we are here.
Well, I have no idea where the proper borders are, how much territory has been reclaimed by Ukraine, but I imagine
they have 20% of the Ukraine territory under their wing now, at this point.
Eastern, like the east and northern 20%. Does anyone have a map of like what the current state of Ukraine's population?
There's that life map,
including Crimea is 20% of the whole Ukraine they have.
I know there's a website that tracks it. I just don't remember what it was called.
Not sure either. I agree with you, Hardy. I mean, if you look at right now, even Moscow's getting prepared for the suicide drones, so they're already preparing for Ukraine to take the offensive. So no, I don't think that's out of hand at all. It's very
Ukraine
numbers.
It won't happen. Ukraine doesn't have enough manpower.
Well, it'll be NATO taking the offensive using Ukrainian people to do it. Because Ukraine doesn't have
NATO long-range weapons, hypothetically.
Yeah, but that doesn't win territory or.
Yeah, but we all agree who's going to be the winner, right?
Defense companies.
Depends on what you consider a winner. I think
this all could have been avoided if they would have allowed Putin to join NATO.
You would have another problem.
No, because in
the
serious
whole point of NATO is to be a united front against Putin.
Right. Again, I agree with that. I'm just saying he asked to join it, but if you look back at the Cuba crisis, United States didn't want their missiles close to us either, but it's neither here nor there.
Well, the Cuban Missile Crisis was just Russia responding to the U.S. having missiles deployed in Turkey.
Yeah,
that's all. And then the Turkish missile silos or missile batteries were supposed to be decommissioned anyway, with the introduction of Polaris-class submarines that would just loiter in the Mediterranean, ready to strike. So it was kind of a nothing burger.
That go to show you why I shouldn't have opened my mouth, because I didn't know anything about the Turkey side of it. So I'm learning.
Okay, let's just assume that it comes to an end, right? And we all know that Russia's gonna lose. So let's talk about repayments. So basically, what's NATO's gonna do? They're gonna take a possession of the assets, like the Gazprom assets, or something similar.
The European
It would
countries already
probably-
have like 60 billion seized, so they are going to use that money.
I really don't think it would go to that point, because if it's to the point where they would surrender and have to basically give up all their mineral rights or natural gas, I hate to say it, but I think that's when the nuclear option comes out, because Putin's already said if there's no Russia there, why would they care to use them? If there's
I
going to be
think
no
it's a
Russia,
bluff.
why would they care?
Well, I think it's a bluff because they already send rockets that's a container for nukes, but there's nothing inside.
Well, I hope it is. I mean, it'd be bad for everybody involved, but it's if it got to the point where they have to now, in saying that Putin was relieved of command, taken out, died of natural causes, that's completely different. But if Putin's still in
Fell out
power,
a window.
or fell out of a window, but if he's still in power, I don't see them surrendering, and then doing like say Germany had to do and pay back, just devastating sanctions.
Right.
Well, whether they
that's a
surrender or
problem.
not, they're losing.
Did you saw the latest report? 880,000 deaths and wounded.
Yeah, but that
on the
report
Russian
came
side.
from that report came from Ukrainian High Command.
No, it came from Germany.
Really?
Yes, and they also stated 100,000 Ukrainians the same. The problem is that
Sorry, what were the numbers from Germany?
180K from Russian side, and 100K from Ukraine side.
That's bullshit, dude.
And 700K fled Russia to not be drafted.
Yeah.
US intelligence is saying well over 100, but I assume that just means 120 or so.
No,
Ukraine's armed forces Facebook page has an official tally of 116,950 Russian troops eliminated. Does not mean killed. It could also include captured or otherwise.
Right, captured, casualty, just wounded.
I don't know
But
if it
even
includes
so,
wounded.
I wouldn't believe their numbers on either side, Russia or Ukraine. Now the Germany side couldn't tell you, but I wouldn't believe either one of their numbers.
Yeah, but these are the official numbers. They are not counting the PMCs.
What is
Yeah, the
PMC?
PMCs suck. Nobody in those groups know how to shoot.
Which
Is that
they are even
the private
even
military,
burning
private military.
the Wagner's group, and they are burning their bodies so they don't have to pay the insurance.
No white Lada for you.
Yes.
They're running out of armored
Vehicles, yeah. They are running out of everything, and even on Europe, the countries don't have much to send. So this is why I'm saying this is going to end in a stalemate.
Well, not
everyone
really.
starts
It's
building.
not gonna go as a stalemate because NATO has like way more. They just don't want to give it.
No, they don't.
No, even the U.S. supplies are getting low. It's in saying it, it's kind of impressive that Russia. And I'm not taking it from. I'm just saying that they're able to withstand as long as they have because of the U.S. is running low and the NATO supplies are running low as well.
Yes, they are running low of everything, and they cannot rebuild that fast.
Thank
So
you.
why do you guys think Russia's not going to be successful there?
Because they cannot beat the Western Europe arms.
Yeah, the billions of dollars that's sent in from NATO countries.
Exactly, but they don't have also manpower armed to resist. They are just sending bodies to the front, but they have a lot of bodies there to use.
And then also the Ukraine supposed to be getting a new package, and there'll be a bunch of facilities there. It's going to be very devastating for Russian troops because of the rounds, the artillery, or the bullets it's capable of. It also can shoot the TOW missiles and armored troop carriers.
It's been a year. How long is it gonna last? Like until to figure out, because the only place you could do here is like I think you could do some currency hedging.
Yeah, you guys got to realize, like, I mean,
It can last.
at
It
the
can
end of the
last
day,
forever.
Russia.
No one has the power to move ahead just to defend themselves. So it will stay as it is for a few years.
So
the
U.S. has
slowed down
shown
because of winter.
the U.S. has
It's slowed
shown that we
down
can
from the
spend
winter.
20 years sinking money into a stupid, pointless war, but we can do it again, damn it.
I think a lot's going to depend on the U.S. elections the next couple of years. I mean, obviously with the Biden presidency, they've been pretty generous with defense packages. So
When
I
has it
don't
not
think
been the
any I don't think any US president is ever going to be willing to give Russia what it needs to end the war, which is like fucking Crimea recognized. And so then I agree that it's just going to keep going like it is for years.
It's going to
Well, not
be for
years,
years.
man. Let's be realistic. You can't
It will be
supply.
years. The war started in 2014. People don't realize that. It escalated in 2022.
Yeah, but
it
it's small
started in
arms. There's no large arms.
There was large arms in 2014. You had tank battles.
How many
Yeah,
units?
2014, and then they signed the Donetsk agreements, and they should have stuck with that, and then it just has escalated heavily since then.
Yes, but
What
they
happened if
never
Putin
stopped fighting.
dies?
There will be another one more crazy than him.
Well, the current news is he's about to flee. That's the current news.
Yes, because he's afraid of his own people. Because you don't like losers. Every time USSR president lost a war, it was removed from power months after. They lost the Afghanistan war. The guy left.
Did they go to war to stop from losing power and ended up losing power anyway? I mean, is the war an evasive maneuver for them?
The theory is that he just wanted to measure his dick. They're saying the guy is dying from cancer and just wanted to leave.
He shouldn't have measured it in the winter.
The guy just wanted to leave his mark in the world because he's dying from cancer. That's the theory.
He has like billions, like hundreds of billions of dollars, right? Like he's rich. No?
Everything is in the others' names. He doesn't have anything.
Does anybody know how the contract works from Germany to Russia? Like how the Gazprom contract works?
It's a private. I don't know how it works, but it's private owned. I think like Russia owns 52% of it, and Germany would own.
It was a company made here in Switzerland called Gazprom that they own 50% each, but that is blown up. It's not supplying any more gas.
So let's say Russia loses. Who takes the assets?
Which assets? The
natural gas assets.
How is it called in English? Sorry, the oleoduct that.
Hey, no. That's America's territory. We take that. Come on now.
It'll be on eBay.
All the gas from Russia to Germany, the conduct has been blown. It's underwater. They just blow it.
No, but there's more than two.
Well, yeah, there's Nord Stream 2, there's Nord Stream 1, but then there's other shorter ones. There's
It goes through Ukraine.
Yeah, it goes through Ukraine, and then does what's the other one?
It goes to Hungary.
Kazakhstan.
Yes, that is the one for China, I believe. That's working. But now, at least in Germany and all the northern countries, they are not receiving. Germany is receiving from Norway.
I'm just saying it's awful suspicious that the U.S. stated it's an awful nice pipeline you guys have there. We'd hate for something to happen to it, and then now the U.S. is sending a bunch of liquefied natural gas to Europe. It's weird.
Yes.
Everything's about energy.
Yeah, but the Russians accuse the UK for that, not the US.
Yeah, was there any truth behind where they had said that Russia had stated they had hacked the British Prime Minister, her phone, and that's one of the reasons she resigned so quickly, or was that just a internet folklore going around?
I think it's internet
That was
folklore.
a cover story for the resignation.
Yeah. She just presented some tax reductions policies just to appease the people, and the stock crashed, and the pension funds all crashed, had to be bailed out. She was going to give massive tax cuts. You are talking about the UK Prime Minister, right?
Yes, I forget her name. The one she made it there long enough to have a cup of
May
tea.
something, Theresa May, I think.
No, that was before. That was the one before that, right? There was Teresa, then it was Boris, then it was.
Yeah, yeah, correct. Yeah, that one resigned because she crashed the funds.
More like kick out.
Yeah, she was kicked out. She was when the Queen died, like one day or something like that.
Are you talking about Truss?
Trust.
Yes, Lisa Truss.
There we go.
Lisa Truss. Exactly.
It was 40 days. I mean, it's easy to forget
Yeah.
that.
She presented a tax cut, and the pension funds all crashed, had to be bailed out by the UK government.
Yeah, we have to be careful. Opinion is a commonwealth, so he may kick us for. We meant no harm, no disrespect. Opinion.
Did the government end up making money on those? Because if they bailed them out and then things are fine, then
No, they haven't recovered yet.
Weren't they like?
I live in Switzerland, so I don't follow that every day.
Weren't they
what's
like
going on in
2 days
France?
away? Weren't they like 2 days away from insolvency on those pensions as well?
Yes. This is why she was kicked out.
What's happening in France? They're going to work till they're 90?
No, man, 64.
I know it's
now work
brutal
until
from
62.
62 to 64. I mean,
Exactly.
that's a tough life.
1 year.
Yeah, in Portugal, where I'm from, it's 67, and we don't complain much. So, this
Hey, is it
French law
true?
won't work.
That's
It's
why we should
Switzerland that,
admire the French, bro. Imagine if we had the balls to get out there and kill congressmen because of our retirement age.
You have things far. Forget retirement. How about just healthcare?
I can never understand you Americans. You pay so many taxes, and you get shit for that.
We pay
No, they get the military. They get the strongest military in the world.
We pay.
You get cheap oil. You get cheap oil.
What's the tax rate in Switzerland?
And in Zurich, where I am, I pay around 8%.
For your income?
Yes. Sorry, IRS 8%. Social benefits around 10%.
Okay.
Total
well,
is
let's
18.
try this another way. Switzerland, right? What do they use? The franc?
Swiss franc.
So you earn 100,000 francs a year. How much of that goes to any form of tax?
Around 12%.
I have trouble believing that.
Wait, say again.
Zurich. Okay. If you go to the French part, you will pay around 15-20.
What about the VAT and all the other stuff?
The VAT is 7.7%, and the high VAT and the low VAT is 2.5%.
Are you a Swiss citizen?
No.
Okay, that's probably why. Because personal income tax for Swiss is 40%, but it comes with a whole host of government benefits.
No, it's not.
Plus, the Swiss, they don't try to bring democracy to everybody, so that could help them on their cause.
Wait.
Actually
Let him answer. How much?
The tax retention for someone winning $1 million francs, no, 100,000 a month is, let me open, is around 11% or something, depends. Give me a second, I have the tax rates here.
I put my source in the comments if anyone wants to verify.
Okay, I'm talking about Zurich, okay? Every canton has its own retention policy.
I'm getting real Wolf of Wall Street vibes here.
Now, Hardy, even if it passes the House, it won't pass the Senate. But there was a congressman proposed a 23% sales tax and eliminate the IRS and the income tax. Like I said, I don't think it would ever pass the House, but even if it did, it would not pass the Senate. Have you heard anything about that?
Joe Biden was making fun of that when his bragging about the economy's inflation going down. He's like,
Well, but
"Is
he was
this
saying
really
that-
how y'all want to start the term?"
Well, he was saying that it was adding the tax onto it, but wasn't stating that you were eliminating the other part of the tax. He didn't give full context to it, though.
So we're waiting.
Yes, sir.
He did say he'd veto it, regardless.
Well, I would still think that 23% would be stupid high either way. But like I said, even if it was to pass the House, there's no way in heck
Back
it
to
would pass the
taxes.
Senate. Yeah. Because the IRS, the personal property or the personal income tax was supposed to be temporary anyway.
What they call kicking that ball into the long grass.
So
Yes, I can.
But-
see.
so back to hardest question. So you're making 100K. How much do you keep?
Okay. If you make 100K a month or a year?
Year.
Wow, 100K a month.
So-
Wow.
I mean, there are people. If you make 100K a month, if you don't have any kids and you are married, you pay 31.1%.
That makes more
Holy
sense.
shit.
If you make 100K a year, you pay, and without kids, 9.66%.
Guys,
With
let's
two
all move
kids-
to Switzerland.
If you have 2 kids, you will pay 5.23%. Okay,
This is for this is a citizen.
tax retention. Okay, you have to pay the social insurance that is around 6% more, and then you have to pay. I don't know how you guys call it there in the US, but you have to pay the company plan. It's your pension fund, which is mandatory, but each company has its own. Can be 5%, can be 10%. It is a bit what you negotiate.
On average, for 100K, how much does someone get to put in their pocket?
100K, you will get more than 80%.
In your pocket.
Yes,
And
80K.
it would depend upon the amount of dependents you have, right? And then wouldn't it also be expensive?
Yes. I mean, in my case, I am with 2 kids, married, both working. Last year, I paid 20.7% taxes.
How long does, say, an immigrant?
And for mine is more than 250K a year.
If an immigrant like myself, for example, were to move there, how long would I have to pay into the retirement plan to be eligible for it? Because you said it's mandatory on every company.
You're not a citizen, and you can't. It's very difficult to become a citizen in Switzerland. You have to. Well, I mean, you can speak to it more, but my understanding is you have to get the people of your canton and your wherever you're
You have to
gonna
have
live
someone to vouch.
approve you.
You have to have someone to vouch for you, and you have to do a Swiss citizen.
It takes like 20 years if you really want to do it.
No, it takes. You have to have 12 years, but the process itself take around 2 years.
Or just marry Swiss.
Yes. Yes, that is easier. Only if you're not married before.
Well,
Is it
lucky me.
easier to find a Swiss woman for this particular sub, or is 12 years living somewhere easier achievement for us?
Well,
Oh, that's
there's
close.
one way to. The advantage of being an American in Europe is you're the exotic one. So hypothetically, a 6 in America is a 7 in Europe.
Amen. But you come here to Zurich and you are one more.
Alright, party.
Yes.
Party. But
You
what
are,
about if
you
you're
are
a
fighting.
1?
You are fighting the Italians, the Greeks, the French, the Portuguese, the English.
Zurich is beautiful. It's awesome.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, Americans in Europe are just fucking marks.
Plus, if you marry a Swiss lady, don't they come with a gun? Because doesn't the Swiss say that every citizen has to have a gun?
The Swiss men come with a gun because they take the army rifle home.
Yeah.
It's a
What
militia
if-
system.
Yeah,
So
it's
they
mandatory.
trained-
But what if you're like past 18, like you're like in your 30s? Is it still mandatory?
Yes, it's mandatory until you are 40. You have to do 3 weeks every year. 3 paid weeks every year. And you bring your guns home.
I work in a watch factory.
The cost of living, though, can be quite expensive. Yes,
Depends
you
where
take
you
home
live.
a lot. Okay. I spent some time in Zurich, and I had a cousin living in Geneva, and they're both expensive, I found.
But I think, say, the Swiss military training, that's you just go to a well lit office space somewhere and pretend to pay somebody gold to not invade your country. That's all their training is, because they don't fight. They just pay you not to come in.
Yeah, but Switzerland has so many bunkers.
Yes, they have.
I've
It's
seen the
mandatory.
documentary in this. They have like really a joke training. No offense.
The
I
bunker's
don't know.
filled
I'm
with
not
art.
close. The bunkers are at homes. Buildings are mandatory. No, they were mandatory in 2016 or something. They were mandatory to be built in the buildings, in the apartments.
Don't they have the most bunkers per capita or per country or I don't know some
Yes,
kind
they
of weird
have.
statistic?
It's
Like officially, it's 1.3. They can fit 30% more than
1.8.
the official. Oh, it's
no,
1.8 now.
1.8 for every building. Because if you have visitors, you have to accommodate them.
I thought they had enough room for 30% more than the population of the official population.
In general, yes, because you have your buildings, and then you have the public bunkers. So if you have a house, you don't have to have a bunker, okay? But you have a building, you have to.
When you say building, do you mean like an apartment complex or
Yes, an apartment
or an
complex.
office space?
Yes.
That's funny. It's wow.
Yeah, but that is why the houses here are crazy expensive. They have to withstand the nuclear blast in the basement.
Do you create a living space in your bunkers? Do you like rec rooms and stuff like that and use it?
Normally is what we call the cellars, right? The storage units.
Basement?
Yeah, the basement is the storage unit. So the only thing is the walls are reinforced and you have to have like a vault door and some filters to breathe.
So it's like a safe room too and
Yeah, it
multi-use.
is.
It's a panic room or for the less fortunate, a startle space.
Yes, but you have to share with your neighbors. So
I get it.
Do you have canned food and MREs back down there?
no. The only thing is they have to have a bathroom.
They have chocolate and gold bars. That's it.
Exactly. They give it out at the airports when you arrive. But I was saying the cost of living also depends on the canton you are. The French cantons are very expensive, and the Italian ones. If you come here to the north, to the German ones, it's more cheap, and even other cantons are cheaper in tax than Zurich.
All right. So, pardon my ignorance here. Are you saying canton? Is that what does that mean?
It's your states.
That's a province.
States or
They're a state.
province, but they're much more independent. They have
Yes.
a lot of independence. They control their own immigration to some extent, to quite a bit of extent.
The schools, the financial, the taxes, and so on.
Now, the more expensive areas, are they nicer or are they more yuppie, just, rich assholes?
Rich assholes. And the lowest one is Zug, is also for the assholes. Because that's where every CEO has his house, because we pay taxes where we live, not where we work. So
Their dump is probably way better than ours.
probably.
Yeah, Zurich is. I mean, Switzerland's beautiful. Been there a few times.
Are there any homeless people?
No, it's outlaw. It's not legal. So they live in shelters, or they are expelled from the country if they are not Swiss, which is the most common.
Damn, that's brutal.
Man, I want to vote Switzerland for president of the U.S. Holy shit, you guys are based.
That's right.
Sorry,
Where do
sir,
they
it's
expel
illegal.
them? Where do they put them? Where do they put them? What country do they put them in?
The country they came from.
No, but let's say they're born Swiss and they get homeless.
Then they get assistance.
Yep, sorry about that.
No, wait, hold on.
Illegal. Move on.
No, wait. Not Swiss citizen. Someone just born in Switzerland, but not a citizen.
Yes, if a person is born in Switzerland, is not a citizen, unless they are from Swiss parents.
Right. So what happens to that person if they become homeless?
They lose the visa and they have to return to the home they are registered.
US does it also. US does it
Yes.
also.
Yeah.
We dump ours in an island called Martha's Vineyard.
They have one of those Looney Tunes spring-loaded traps that just flips them right over the border. Just flip, not our problem.
Au revoir.
It's called extradition. Extradite.
Extradition.
Well, no, so on the guy was saying if the parents aren't or weren't born there, but then they become citizens. So you have one from America, one from Canada. Now the kid's born. If he's born in Switzerland, he's not considered a citizen, correct?
No, if one of the parents is Swiss, then the children will become Swiss.
Gotcha. But if both aren't, and that child is born there, where does that child get sent? To America, to Canada, or to which parent's home country? And I know that's an extreme case, but I'm just curious.
Whichever one picks up the phone first.
Exactly. No, it's where the person wants to go. They will buy him a ticket and tell him choose.
You guys
go
sound
to the
bait.
US or you go to Canada.
Wait, just a refresher. Capital gains tax. How does it work?
Sorry? I didn't hear
in
the
the
question.
US or in Switzerland?
Switzerland. You live in Switzerland, and you say you sold 10,000. You have 10,000 gains, capital gains. How does it work now?
We don't pay gains. We pay the. You
pay the income that goes to the gain.
Not the income. I pay the income and I pay my. Crap! I'm missing the English word. I pay how much money I have. I pay.
What?
Wait, you pay a tax on the gross amount? So
Yes,
if you
on
sell
the-
100,000 francs worth of securities that you bought
Doesn't matter.
for 120,000, you pay tax on the 100,000.
No, I pay income tax. Then I pay a part of what I hold. They ask me to fill how much money I have in bank accounts or in stocks, and I pay a tiny percentage of
It's a
that
wealth
value.
tax.
A wealth tax, yes, exactly. Until 1 million,
How much?
we pay
How much?
like 0.01%, something like that. So I
So
don't.
basically, they're not charging you taxes if you got taxed in the beginning and then you bought something and sold that and made money on it. Since you pay tax, that's the way it should be. Yeah. Again, I vote Switzerland for president.
I mean, if I win money from dividends, I don't pay taxes there.
What the hell?
If I make money from stocks, I buy 100 and I sell 120. They don't care. They just ask me at the end of the year, how much do you have on your bank account? And I say 120. Then they charge me 0.1% if it is over 1 million. I mean, it has some limits. I don't know exactly. I just pay them.
Then how come
what they
there's
ask me.
no increase of traders in Switzerland? It's supposed to be like a gambler's paradise.
Increase of what?
Because you'd have to be a citizen to get that tax rate or tax break.
No, you don't. You just need to earn more than 120k a year.
Gambler's paradise.
Yes, it is. No, sorry. Gamblings, they have to pay 50% of what they make.
No, but you're still let's say we're just strictly talking about equities. It's still a gambler's paradise.
Yes, that's the gambler's paradise, exactly.
I'm just curious, are you looking to adopt a 40-year-old person from America? Just hypothetically?
Turn gay, he's gonna marry you. Turn gay, he's gonna marry you.
I mean, financially, it may work out. I hadn't considered it until this point, but it's better than what I got going here.
And that's why you have so many rich people living here. This is a place where you have more rich people than the average. Here in Monaco,
we might be a distant cousins, huh?
Your exit taxes to leave the U.S. would make it unprofitable.
Yeah,
because you'd have to renounce your citizenship.
Yes, I hear that from my colleagues that are from the U.S. They tell me that they have to pay the taxes in the U.S. and they want to shoot themselves.
Just don't have money, and then you won't have to pay taxes. That's the big.
I was going to say, I was only down 49% or 46% on my Robinhood account last year. You can't tax negative.
No, and here, even if you lose money, they don't care. They just want to know how much did you had on the 31st of December on your account.
Now, what if you keep your gold bars and chocolate bars at home and it's not in the bank? How do they tax you there?
Because you have to declare it there. How much cash you have or assets.
What do you mean by have to?
You have a line on your tax report that you have to place how much gold you have or how much money you have.
You mean they ask you to?
Yes, they ask you to. And because you have you pay so much tax, so much little tax, that your best friend will tell on you if you don't pay taxes.
Wow, sounds like great culture in Switzerland.
Because no one wants to pay more tax because someone is skipping on their tax.
Guys, gambler's paradise.
Yeah, I guess if the percentage is that low, why try to scheme around it? But yeah, here where everything is taxed and then taxed.
Isn't that why Swiss banks are a thing? Because it's like
Yes.
tax haven.
Yes. But Swiss banks are normally bored because until recently they didn't report that you had money here.
Yes.
Well, on behalf of the U.S. tax code, fuck you guys. Respectfully, of course.
Yes, thank you very much. And you guys still say that it's the best place to live in the U.S.?
Oh, I never said that. It's these guys.
Yeah, that was more several generations back, like the home of the free. Yeah, now it's everything is regulated and licensed and everything. It's not as free as it should be.
Yeah, if with the taxes that you pay here, it's just outrageous. Between income tax, all the licensing you have to do, and all the sales tax, and it's just insane.
Yeah, this is why normally when I compare to the guys in the US, they make double what I make and they take home the same as me.
Right, but even if they take home the same, then they still, if you go to the store to buy something, you got to pay sales tax on that. And then if you were to buy something and then, want to sell it, and if you make money on that, you're supposed to pay tax on that.
On the second-hand products?
No,
technically, if you make a profit on anything, you're supposed to report it.
Yep. And I think the biggest challenge here in the U.S. is the ever-continuing rising costs of healthcare. So you could become a millionaire, and then you have a heart attack or something goes wrong with your health, and you lose it all overnight.
Yeah, I know. I heard
And that's the thing with like some of the countries like Switzerland is, you're paying and you're getting something in return for the
yeah, but
social
on
tax that you
Switzerland,
pay.
you don't have free healthcare also, but you
You
have a mandatory.
You pay
No,
for
you have
that,
a
right?
mandatory. Yes, we have a mandatory health insurance.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have something serious that happens to you, how long does it take? 'Cause, for example, a friend of mine, his parents were grandparents still live in Canada, and they were on a wait list forever. And they ended up coming to the U.S. and paying out of pocket to get a procedure done because
No, here is everything is private. Even the public hospitals are private, privately managed. But I normally pay around for a good health insurance. I pay around 500 a month. For me, 100 for the kids. The franc is almost 1-to-1 with a dollar. So you can see we pay around 1.2K a month, and we have everything is almost free. We just pay a premium of 300 francs a year. Everything that we spend over that 300 is covered by the insurance.
How much of the people are financially literate?
Most of the people here, but most of the people also have a very frugal lifestyle. So everything
yeah,
is
they
easy.
have to be, because if you're homeless, they kick you out. So if you can't afford, or you can't pay attention,
Sorry, I misspoken. I'm talking about the rest. People just spend what they earn. But people here start working normally at 15. So what we call I don't know how the grades are, but normally when they are 15, they start working part-time in school. So they go 2 days to school, 3 days to work.
Oh yeah. Kind of like all the other German states. It's like the
Yes,
work school
exactly. It's the
program.
same. It's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same.
Like the Nordic people have that also.
So if the franc is close to say dollar, or close to being equal 1-to-1 to the dollar, what is the average rent or housing cost per month? And then do you guys have one vehicle? Do you have two? Do you walk everywhere? Do you ride bicycles like we see in the pictures?
I mean, here depends. It depends where you live. In Zurich, you have normally one car per person, but you can go everywhere by transport. The rent here is 2-bedroom apartment is around 2.5K. That's the average. But if you go inland to the countryside, you pay 1,000 or even less for a 2-bedroom.
And they have excellent rail service, railroads, and all that stuff.
Yes, everything.
Yeah, I've seen videos on that. Now, does every Swiss citizen get a free ski lift pass?
No, you have to pay what we call here the half card. You purchase for like 200 francs a year, and every train ride and everything costs half the cost, and it's included something also for the lifts and everything.
What would be? Do you guys have a minimum wage set for like the or average wage set?
Depends on the canton, but it's around 4K, 3.7, I believe.
Per month.
Yes, and the average household is 66K, around that.
Based.
How come you're not invaded yet?
Because we have everyone's gold here. You guys have Fort Knox, and we have the Swiss banks here. And geographically, it's very difficult to invade Switzerland.
Because it's Switzerland. They're the good old boys.
Exactly.
Yep, I'm signing up for the Tinder and Grinder account for Swiss, and I don't care which one hits first. Daddy's moving.
That's a pretty sweet deal, actually, if you think about it. Then just get divorced afterwards.
Yes, and normally you get divorced when you retire, which is very common, so you can receive a better pension.
Yeah. So would they even allow me in the country if I put down for my employment? I'm a WallStreetBets day trader.
I mean, you couldn't be worse than the guys that we have here working for all the banks and losing shit tons of money. You would fit right in. You have a private wealth management office in every corner. You guys have Wendy's. We have here private wealth management offices, the family offices.
He's flexing on everybody. He's flexing, this guy.
Yeah, but yeah, sometimes you got to do it though.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's gone quite long today, longer than we usually do. But I think it's time to wrap it up. We've talked about literally everything under the sun, from chicken raising to everything politics, from the war to life in the European Canada. So I think it's about time we wrap it up. What do you guys say? Any last words?
Hey, next week, can you invite other people so we could exchange how tax rates works in other countries?
So specifically around, like, what do you mean? What, like people in general?
Yeah. Ask other people who's not American or Canadian and ask them about the tax rates.
Sure. I'll reach out to some people.
Well, I got nothing to add. Just thanks for keeping it run along opinion. So I've learned a few chicken facts and tax status and where I'm going to be looking for my new home. So thank you.
Perfect. That's all you need in life: chicken and tax. I guess. So thanks everyone for tuning in, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care and don't lose too much money. Bye for now.
Thanks, Opinion. Bye.
Bye, Opinion. Have a good one.
Cheers.